you can introduce yourself and then we can get into the pitch. All the best.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Chacha. I am a co-founder and the Chief Operations Officer at Agrotech Plus, and I'm here to just take you through Agrotech Plus. Thank you. This is where I start my pitch. Okay.
Sharon, yes,
Thank you very much.
You can go ahead and start your pitch.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I don't know what brings joy to you, but at Agrotech Plus, our joy is seeing that smallholder farmers are able to increase their productivity and returns. And this means they're not only able to invest back into farming, but they're able also to account for other competing needs such as school fees, healthcare, and clothing for their families. 80% of the Kenya's farming community is smallholder farmers who supply us with 70% of the food that we produce. But these are the single largest group of Kenya's population who are food insecure and living in poverty. Why? Living in remote areas, they do not have access to basic agricultural support and extension services. As a result, they struggle to grow enough to feed their families and face annual hunger season, which could mean skipping meals and meal substitution. So what is Agrotech doing about it? Using digital technologies, that is a digital platform, simple SMS and USSD technology, backed up with machine learning and remote sensing, we are giving farmers a one-stop shop that bundles three core things for smallholder farmers. One is agricultural input financing, where we provide this input financing by selling quality farm inputs, not limited to fertilizer and high quality seeds, to these smallholder farmers on credit. Second, we have a digital marketplace where we link farmers to willing buyers at competitive prices. We also have climate smart and nutrition sensitive advice where we have built an online and also on ground community where farmers can learn from each other, share as well as sell their produce. In addition to this, our farmers get to enjoy a replanting guarantee insurance product, which means they're able to invest in another bag of seed in case of weather adversities. With these services, we have three revenue streams. One from direct sales of agricultural inputs, financial margins from loan interest, and also financial margins at the end of the season when farmers are able to get linkages to market. In 2021 alone, we are able to close 5,000 farmers, and we are currently working with 15,000 smallholder farmers. We hope with their investors, we can double this number. Out of these farmers that we are serving, 89% of them have given feedback on improved productivity with nearly 50% increase in farm revenue. What does it mean for the smallholder farmers? They're not only able to improve production, they're able to increase the scale of farming and use the profits to support their household expenditure as well. We look forward to scaling to other counties in Kenya and also in other East African countries. We're looking at going to Tanzania as well as Uganda. Myself, the co-founder, I have 5 years experience in climate smart and nutrition sensitive agricultural programs in terms of knowledge management and transfer. My co-founder, Aisha, is a farmer for 7 years, an expert in business development and data analytics. And with us, we have a team of 15, and we're looking forward to replicate this effect and support rural smallholder farmers attain agricultural sustainability and profitability. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Over to the judges. Victor, if you're able to speak, otherwise Ken, if you have a question for Sharon.
I was trying to let Victor speak first, unless Victor, let me know if you don't have a question. Or... Okay, maybe I can start. So thank you very much, Sharon, for your pitch. I have a couple of questions, the first one will be for you to explain me how, for example, you use machine learning and also how you use the remote sensing to offer which specific service to, let's say, a farmer, customer that you have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ken, for that question. So what we do is we have village agents at the ground, and we are supposed to, what we do is we create a credit profile for the farmer. So one way of locating where these farmers are is now using the GIS and the satellites just to get the productivity profile of that area. And then through our village agents, we're also able to create the credit profile for farmer per farm, depending on the value chain that are in, because then that will now inform us on how, from the credit profile, what we are going to give this farmer, and so that they're able to reinvest. So that is how we combine those two, just to locate our farmers, get the productivity and the credit profiles.
I don't know, maybe you are not the technology person of the farm of the company, but because you have not explained how machine learning actually is used in the process. Yeah.
Well,
Can you
I'm
further
not, of course,
or you are not?
Sorry, I may not be the tech person in terms of that, but then I know how it works in terms of creating the profiles, and that is the information we use to now create the credit profile to facilitate the services the farmers need.
And how do you, I would say, score the credit when you have the information? How do you score each farmer in terms of the credit worthiness?
So first you look at the farm size, and then you look at the value chain that they're in. And then you also look at the productivity throughout, and now the amount of now, for example, the amount of seeds, the quantity of seeds they use, the fertilizers they use, and you're able to see this is the amount this farmer would need in a crop season. So we use the crop season in the value chain and the size of the land and what they use. So that you'll get almost the amount that the farmer is using in a crop season, and that helps you to now inform you then this is the amount you can have to actually help this farmer in terms of now financing their agricultural activity.
Okay. Another question. I went to your platform, and I've seen that you have developed the service, the digital platform, for 3 years now. It is put somewhere on your platform that these digital services have been already operational for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the geo-referenced services.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the case? Because I understood from your document that you have shared that actually you have been servicing farmers, or at least using the platform, for 2 years. And also I've seen that there are some part of the website have information from another company, particularly DigiFarm, in terms of the use of the technology solution. So I don't know if you have information about that, if you are working with them, and if you can elaborate on that.
So in terms of our working, we've been working for the last 3 years. But of course, the first year was on when we had the digital platform. It was just to also pretest it's working. So it picked up in the last 2 years. That's why there's the 3 years and 2 years, because there's the first time it was launched, and just to see how users were interacting with it. Then it's just picked up in the last 2 years. In terms of DigiFarm, those are our partners. We have partners who are, we work with the farmer partners also, partners who work with smallholder farmers, sorry. So DigiFarm is one of them, and we also work with an NGO called FSPN Africa, because they also have farmers that they're working with. And so part of pre-testing and just seeing how our product can be uptaken, we had to work with FSPN as well as DigiFarm to see how it's going. In terms of how farmers would take it, and if there are any areas that would need to tighten as an enterprise.
Okay, I don't know if Victor has questions. Victor?
Yes, thank you so much. I think I'm sorry for my technical challenges, but finally been able to join. I just have 2 questions to ask. One is, when you provide credit services, how are you able to guarantee that the smallholder farmers can be able to repay for that? I'm asking this because this is a question within the ecosystem, and there are very good startups that are there, but the challenge is repayment of all this. Yeah, and then the second question that I ask is that from your revenues, how much is coming from these non-governmental organizations or some of these partners that you're working with as compared to the smallholder farmers themselves?
Thank you very much. So on to your first question. I'd say that in terms of how we even work with the farmers, we work with them in groups. They usually have existing groups of 15 to 20. It helps with the accountability in terms of returns. But then even our entry was in form of extension, that is the climate smart and nutrition sensitive education. So just to have a buy-in, but now in terms of how do we ensure returns, the entry point kind of helped us gain farmers' trust. But also when they're taking the farm input in credits, they pay 20% of it. So it's just 20% of it, and then they pay the rest at the end of the crop season when they've already harvested. So we have a payment plan across the crop season, and that is followed up by the village agent as well as their group leaders. So I can say that the group aspect has helped with accountability in terms of them even acquiring services from us, but also paying back the credit. So far, we've not had challenges. Maybe as we get more farmers, we'll need to re-strategize. But for now, with our 15,000 farmers, that has really worked for us. And now in terms of investment from our partners, that is the organizations that we work with, most of our interactions are not like financial in terms of generating revenues. It's more of being able to access the smallholder farmers that we work with and offering the services from them, which I can say was a good way in terms of starting to pilot or at least have the product online. But now we are also strategizing as an enterprise to be able to have a customer acquisition plan by ourselves and just have our farmers, because again, you are limited to how you can work with farmers in someone else's space. So we are also trying our best to also find a plan to do the customer acquisition by ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. No more questions from my end.
Maybe one last question from me, if possible. Have you developed yourself your digital solution, or who has developed them?
Oh, we have the software developers within us. So they're the ones who've developed the digital solution. We have the software developers, the agronomists, and now the knowledge management and transfer. So we have a team that does that.
So they are the one who have developed the machine learning solution and also the geodata solution?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Maybe just a question. Maybe just a question from me.
Yes.
Sharon, what value chains are you looking at with the farmers currently?
Currently, we are looking at Irish potatoes. We have cabbages and green maize.
Okay, so you have three value chains that you have farmers, and you said your farmers now are 5,000. Did you say that, or 15,000? What was the number again?
So we have 15,000 farmers, but then the ones that are actively taking the services are now 5,000, because 15,000 we have those that buy. Not all of them take farm inputs and credits. Some buy directly, but also some are in there for the learning. So but then those who are purely taking our services in the way of given in terms of how we operate are 5,000.
How is the uptake of the insurance in your view?
One, I can honestly say that the first, when you're in the agricultural insurance is a very gray area for farmers. So I can say that from the start, the uptake wasn't very good because again, farmers were a bit skeptical and how that would work because remember, someone is giving you money for eventualities. They're investing for any eventualities that come. So what we have to do from our end is to hold our end of the bargain. Should anything happen for our farmers, should anything happen that weather related or sometimes the pest, we had the issue of the armyworms in Kiambu, then we hold ourselves accountable and just keep our end of the bargain. So I can say so far it has increased, but then I can also say that it has been a bit of a challenge because it's agricultural insurance things some farmers still don't understand it, but there's been improvement once we hold our end of the bargain. And usually it helps with testimonials. If you're able to give the farmer the value, that testimony is what actually make other farmers find interest in the insurance.
It would be interesting to learn how you circumvented that challenge from the initial to having more of the farmers, getting into this insurance. Do you want to share that?
Sorry?
I'm saying it would be interesting to know how you circumvented the challenge initially from the farmers and what you did differently so that the farmers could uptake the insurance aspect.
Okay. So first, when we presented what Agrotech does and presented directly the insurance, the farmers did not get. And so we had to get their farm leads to just have a conversation on how this works. And we agreed that we are going to have a sample farmers to uptake that product, just to also, like I said, the testimony is what was going to help. So we had some farmers to actually uptake that insurance product, and it is through the testimonies that the other farmers were a bit willing to that. So like I said, the testimonials, you work with a few, and then the testimonial is what now helped them buy in. Otherwise, going directly was not going to work. And again, we've learned that the farmers are very appreciative of knowledge. So the trainings, the more you have the climate smart, nutrition sensitive, if you can also add some aspect of agribusiness, sometimes they also have social problems, but even when they come to group, you're able to address some things. Some of those things are cuts up like things that cut across like non-communicable diseases. They earn your trust, and that plus the testimonials, then they're able to uptake that service. So it was not a script. We had to learn how to contextualize with the farmers that we meet.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges, for your questions. Thank you, Sharon. You may drop off and we'll be in touch over the next few days.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So we can move on to the next contestant, and that is Allan Coredo from FarmIT. I'm going to bring him into the room for him to introduce himself and pitch, and then the judges' questions. For the judges that have been allocated to Allan, it shall be Nixon and Faith. Just get his audio is just connecting. Good morning, Allan.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very fine. How are you?
Oh, fine, thanks. I think your background, is your background the correct way up? It looks like you need to flip it. Just flip it so that I think it's the other way around, just so we can see your branding in the background.
I think it's the correct way.
It looks like it's the other way around to me. Hein, can you assist?
Yes, Allan, if you go to
there we
your
go.
video camera, there you go. Perfect. Yes, mirrored.
There we go.
Well done.
Awesome. So Allan, you have a minute to introduce yourself, and then 3 minutes to pitch as you've been practicing, and then there'll be about 5 or 6 minutes questions from the judges. So when you're ready, you can introduce yourself and then you can pitch. The floor is yours, Allan.
Thank you very much, Barbara. My name is Allan Coredo. I am the founder and innovator at FarmIT. I have a background in agribusiness and I have majored in agronomy. I have a passion on ICT for development, especially working with smallholder farmers. I have been working with the smallholder farmers for the last 10 years, specifically smallholder vegetable farmers, practicing 7 different kinds of crops, mainly tomatoes, onions, brassicas, watermelons, Irish potatoes, chilies, and carrots, and sweet peppers. So that is my area of expertise, and that's where I am at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Allan.
For the last, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. For 10 years, working as an agronomist and interacting with smallholder farmers, I have learned they contribute greatly to our food security and economic autonomy. Did you know that 80% of the food we consume domestically has been produced by smallholder farmers? Great news, right? Jane, a tomato farmer, has been experiencing decline in her productivity, just like other 10 million smallholder farmers in Kenya. This is a cause of great concern for our nation's food security and farmers' well-being. From my interactions with Jane, I have established 3 major causes of her decline in productivity. 1, Jane has limited access to best agronomical practices. 2, Jane lacks access to lucrative markets. And 3, the technology that's supposed to help Jane solve this problem require high digital literacy level, which Jane doesn't have. And 2, they are very expensive. FarmIT is helping farmers like Jane and other smallholder vegetable farmers in Kenya to 1, offer farm precision advisories, and 2, connect them to lucrative markets. We use Earth observation tools like satellite, IoT sensors, machine learning, and AI advanced modeling to get critical insights on Jane's plant and soil health issues. We interpret that data and send it using our messaging platform to make Jane make informed decisions at key production stages. Our crop mapping solution is able to detect Jane's harvesting dates, thereby connecting her to a pool of large-scale buyers in our platform. When Jane uses our system, she is guaranteed of 20% increase in her tomato yields. She is guaranteed of reduction in post-harvest losses, improved bargaining power, and she will earn 3 times more what she earns using the traditional selling channels. We have registered over 300,000 smallholder vegetable farmers in our platform. We have registered 1,000 large-scale buyers in our platform. We have sent over 2.5 million advisories to farmers, and we have recorded 4,000 farmer-to-buyer transactions. Jane only has to pay $1 to access all these services. Currently, we are operating in 5 peri-urban counties that border Nairobi here in Kenya, but we plan to scale to 20 more counties in Kenya. With the prize money, we are going to use it to upgrade our system, help us in marketing operations, and hire more personnel. Our team is comprised of experienced agronomists, experienced software developers, and experienced business development officers who have a combined 20 years experience working and interacting with smallholder farmers in Kenya. The year is 2030. Jane and other 10 million smallholder farmers are receiving farm advisories, are getting 3 times more profits, and our nation's food security is in good balance. Join me in this noble venture of improving the livelihoods of smallholder farmers in Kenya. Thank you.
Judges, over to you, Nixon and Faith.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Allan, for your elaborate presentation and using Jane as an example of a farmer in your discussion. I have a number of questions that I'm thinking. I've looked at your presentation, and I see you have already over 300,000 smallholder farmers in your platform. Is that true?
That's correct.
These farmers, do they self-registrate, or you look for them and register them into your platform?
We look for them using our FarmIT ambassadors who are located in the 5 peri-urban counties of Kenya. Then we deploy them to these fields where they go and register these farmers.
Okay, so when they register, what details do they take? Is it just the farmer's personal, personal details, or do you also do geo-mapping of their land and so forth?
We do their personal details, and also we do geo-mapping of their lands as well.
Okay. So you also said that the main provision that you do with your farmers through the system is advisory, in terms of extension advisory, right? And access to markets.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting to know, where do you get your content that you push to the farmer, the good agronomical content for the, you said your area is vegetables, right?
Yes, we are only dealing with 7 vegetables. That is the highly perishable vegetable crops. The 7 that I mentioned include the onions, tomatoes, sweet pepper, all the brassicas, all the leafy vegetables. We also do watermelon and a bit of carrots. So we are specific on those 7 vegetable crops that we are working with on the farmer. So when we geomap the farmer's location, we're able to detect the plant and the soil health issues for the farmer. For the plant health issues, they include different indices. We use the NDVI indices to just detect any form of plant health issues. So we're able to localize the scouting method. So from that data, we interpret the data using our agronomists. We have a pool of agronomists in our system. So they interpret that data, and then now we send it in a simple way that a smallholder farmer can actually understand using our messaging platform.
In your platform, is it only a push, or is also a pull platform?
It's both ways. It's a pull and push platform. So when a farmer doesn't understand whatever message has been sent by the agronomist, then he's able to query, and we're able to see it in our dashboard, and we're able to respond adequately.
Okay, and did you develop the digital platform yourself, or you had somebody develop it for you?
We developed the digital platform together with my colleague and my friend, Gideon, who is a software developer. We also had a partnership with different satellite companies like Planet Earth, who actually are providing us with the satellite information that we are using to get this data from farmers. So we have an interactive, we have integrated our platform with Planet App as well, who are our partners.
Okay, that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Faith,
All
do you
right.
have go ahead.
Thank you, Jane. Confirm you can hear me well. My network is a bit unstable.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Allan, thank you for your presentations. I've just got a few questions on the size of your business. You mentioned that you've got 3,000 farmers and you mentioned the number of buyers that you have. What is the volume of business in terms of tonnage or in terms of revenue that you're generating on your platform? The second question is, what is the revenue and the costs that you have through your platform? You mentioned that you've got 300,000 small-scale farmers that are registered. Are these registered or fully subscribed, or they are just registered customers? And what are the...
Yes, so we have registered over the 3-year period we have been operating. We have registered over 300,000 smallholder vegetable farmers. Currently in our system, an average farmer who's subscribing, we have 20,000 average farmers on a monthly basis subscribing to our platform. Reason being is that they come with different seasons. They plant different crops for different seasons. So not all of them will register at the same time. Others will register at the beginning of the planting season. Others will register maybe in the middle going forward, depending on their planting seasons, because those crops have different planting seasons. So on average revenue of 2.5 million cash. That is cash in Kenya shillings. That's what we normally get on a yearly basis. That's the average revenue. Our cost is quite minimal because the ambassadors that we use, we recruit them from these peri-urban counties. So they are just local ambassadors living in these areas. So we recruit them, we capacity build, and then we deploy them in the area that they are well known. So they're able actually to talk more with the other farmers and interact more freely and bring them on board. The tonnage,
All right,
the amount of tonnage.
I also asked on the volume of your business in terms of tonnage.
Yes. So for the amount of tonnage, an average farmer has 2 acres, 2 acres of land, and they normally produce different kinds of agricultural crops, which have different varieties of tonnage. But on average, for the 2 acres, let's take, if we take tomato production, he will produce an average of 80 tons per acre. And for the 80 tons, if we have like 30% of our smallholder farmers in the system, so that is just 80 tons multiplied by 30 tons. So it depends with the level of the different farmers that are on board doing different kinds of crops.
All right, thank you for that. You also mentioned that you've got some ambassadors under your employ. What's your staff size and who is in your management besides?
So currently we have a team of 5 individuals. We have 3 senior agronomists. We have 1 software developer, and we have 1 financial and business controller. That is our senior level team. We have 5 ambassadors representing the 5 peri-urban counties that we are working with. We also have a mentor who's helping us in our business development process.
All right, and what's your competitive landscape like in Kenya? Where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
We see ourselves growing not only in Kenya, but also capturing the East African market and creating a market network for the East African community, especially for the smallholder vegetable farmers in East African community. The unique value that we offer, of which most of our competitors don't have, is the precision farming. Our crop mapping mobile technology is able to help farmers get timely information that will help them make informed decisions at key production stages. That is the precision farming that we have. So when we register the farmer will give us his or her planting date. We're able to map that in our system. We're able to detect that from our geomapping system as well. So when we are sending this information, it is precise to the plant life stages. So we know at each point that this crop is at this stage, it will need this kind of agronomical practices. So the farmer is able to use that information to make good decisions at that right time. That is something that most farmer digital services don't have at the moment. And that is our competitive edge right now.
Thank you, judges, for the questions. Thank you very much, Allan. We'll be in touch over the next few days and you can drop off the call for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anaporka from Farmio, and the judges are Faith and Victor. I'm bringing Anaporka into the room now. And we can give Anaporka a couple of seconds for her audio to connect as well. If you're speaking, you're on mute.
Hello, sorry, I just realized I was still on mute. Good morning.
Good morning. Please switch on your video for us.
Yes.
Oh, great. There we see you. Anaporka, you have a minute to introduce yourself and maybe try to turn your camera slightly so that you're looking into the camera. Yeah, that's better. So you'll have a minute to introduce yourself. That minute is not part of your 3-minute pitch. After you've introduced yourself, please do go ahead and pitch, and then the judges will ask you questions for about 5 minutes or so. So when you're ready, Anaporka, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Anaporka Adazabra, and I'm the co-founder and CEO for Farmio Limited. I'm here to talk to you about Farmio. In 2019, I met a farmer, Christiana, a female farmer who owned over 100 acres of prime farmland but had difficulty managing it all. She was ready to give up on her farm. This was simply because she didn't know when to grow, what to grow, or how to grow. Moreover, over 60% of industries globally have difficulty sourcing fresh farm produce from African farmers due to the broken value chain, the archaic methods of farming, the underinvestment, and the antics of middlemen that make agriculture in Africa undesirable for farmers and global buyers. Farmio solves this by leveraging on precision farming techniques, circular economy principles, and web and mobile technologies to provide affordable greenhouse farming systems that increase productivity by as much as 120% for farmers. We also provide them a simple platform called the Farmio Super App, where they have access to a wide range of value chain players along the full value chain to enable them make their whole farming and production process as simple as possible. They have access to an e-commerce platform to directly list their produce under B2B or B2C transactions and make money from trading directly with off-takers and retailers. We are made up of a diverse team of passionate young professionals, and we have a combined 15 years experience in agribusiness management, value chain analysis and supply chain management, greenhouse engineering and greenhouse farming, as well as agronomy in basic and various types of vegetable production. We have successfully raised over $225,000 in revenue since 2019 till date, piloted a unique household greenhouse design for 120 homes, produced over 60,000 tons of premium organic fresh greenhouse produce and traded directly with 220 off-takers, both locally and internationally. We've also created direct and indirect jobs, up to 1,200 jobs along the full value chain, and trained and equipped 250 youth directly with skills to begin their own greenhouse farms, 60% of which are female. We make money in different ways. We make money from the greenhouse construction and the farm setup. We also make money from the sales of fresh farm produce and in inputs. We also make money from the production of escargot, and also the supply of high quality input materials, greenhouse input materials for our farmers and our various clients. We believe that we are digitizing and revolutionizing the agricultural value chain in Ghana and Africa as a whole. And we are looking forward to channel the wind from the PITCH AGRIHACK into the completion of a highly efficient Farmio super app by blending in IoTs and AI models to enable in rapid crop management and crop analysis tools. We're also looking to provide a USSD platform for these farmers located in remote areas to have access to our services without the need or the use of internet. We are looking forward to working with PITCH AGRIHACK to achieve our goals and creating a sustainable agricultural value chain in Africa as a whole. Thank you very much, and I'm standing by for your questions.
Victor, do you have any questions for Anaporka? And then Faith, you can also ask a question.
Thanks, Anaporka, for your presentation, and really congratulations for getting into the stage of the competition. I just have a few questions. Is one, do you manage the greenhouses for the smallholder farmers, or you just provide the greenhouse technology and then the smallholder farmers can be able to do that? Then second, how many value chain players or off-takers do you have? And lastly, I just wanted to ask about your app. Are you the ones who being able to develop it, and which language is it in? So just three questions.
Thank you very much for your questions. So first of all, we do provide management services depending on the scale of production that a farmer is going to. For some farmers, they are going to commercial greenhouse structures. We provide management services for them, where we provide them the agronomist, a dedicated agronomist that is able to go with them through to a production plan, and also provide them off-taker contracts, signed off-taker contracts, where they are able to take off their produce right after production and cut down on post-harvest losses. For our other farmers, smallholder farmers that are doing smaller units of greenhouse farms, we have assigned agronomists to different communities that they are more than one farmer located. So they go on a monthly round on these communities, checking in on their farms and making sure that they are meeting various production guidelines through the whole process. Secondly, when it comes to the app, we are building it in-house. I myself am a computer science, I'm a trained computer scientist, and also I have a co-founder who is a CTO in IT. We are building it, we currently building the app on in PHP and Java and JavaScript languages. We are sort of building it as a web app basically, where we have the web components, which is hosted up on the website, where we have the e-commerce part as well. The Farmio Super App component will also be a web app that is downloadable on iOS and app stores, available for people to have access to the services that we are talking about virtually along the full value chain. So it's a various blend of different languages, different tools that we are currently using in there. Yeah. I may have lost you on the second question, if you can repeat that for me.
Just a clarification on the language. I did not mean the production or the software language that you're using to provide. Is like, for example, the USSD, which language will it be reaching smallholder farmers? Because sometimes smallholder farmers do not have digital literacy, but also literacy in itself. So are you providing USSD, and do you plan to do it in other languages apart from just English?
Yes, so our languages are basically in English and French. We also have our Ghanaian local languages, that it's Tree and Ga for some of our localities. We are developing a language portion called Ever to deal with some of our farmers who are also located in majority of the Volta areas of Ghana. But we are building it in English and French. It's available in English and French.
Okay, and the last question is where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years? How many smallholder farmers are you working with, and where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Thank you. So we're currently working with over 400 smallholder farmers. We have served and created deals with over 220 off-takers. These off-takers range from restaurant owners, grocery shops, supermarkets, aggregators that export our fresh farm produce out there. This is all part of our off-taker pool. So we're dealing with over 220 off-takers so far. We've served over 400 smallholder farmers. We are looking at increasing the number to at least about 6,000 smallholder farmers within the next 3 to 4 years. With the creation of the USSD platform and then the completion of the Farmio Super App, it means I'll be able to reach a wider network of these farmers virtually. And then we're also developing what we call the Green Hub, which is a powerhouse of highly efficient greenhouses for snail and vegetable production within the next 2 to 3 years, where we're putting up over 200 greenhouses that will boost production among the farmers and also create a good and active training center for people to come and learn about production, because one of the main issues now is the skills too is also a problem. So we're looking at creating this platform this hub too, where people can come in and learn, and also we fuel the creation of jobs in that particular sector. As I've said earlier, we've been able to create over 1,200 direct and indirect jobs along the full sector. And if we're able to put up this hub, it means that a lot more people can come and learn and feed the various smallholder units that we have out there.
Thank you very much, Anaporka. Faith, do you have a question for Anaporka?
No, Jane. Thank you, Anaporka, for your presentation. You've covered everything.
May I ask one question, please?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for your presentation. One question. You've talked about your revenue, but you have not mentioned if you are already profitable, for example, today. I would like to understand that a bit, if you are already profitable. If not, by when do you think you can be profitable? Yeah, this would be one question. Can you go ahead, please?
Thank you very much. So yes, we are profitable. As I said earlier, we've gained $225,000 in revenue since 2019 to 2021. And we, for the very first 2 quarters of 2022, we already have $120,000 in revenue. We are profitable at a 25 to 30% profit margin. And yes, we are basically profitable now. All our paying users on our platforms are paying and are providing profits and helping us maintain the level of service that we provide for them.
Okay, thank you. Over to Jane.
Before Jane goes, just a question to you mentioned that you have a greenhouse solution. Is it a software, or hardware that you give to the youths and offer training for them? Is it something that you build a greenhouse out of scratch, or how do you do it?
Thank you. So basically what we realized when we first started this was the high cost of having greenhouses built. For anybody to own a greenhouse now in Ghana, about a 200 square meter greenhouse, you're looking at spending up to $6,500 and above. That is just for the structure alone. For you to set up the farm, for the farm inputs, the drip irrigation setup that you're even going to use in the greenhouse, the seeds that you buy, the labor that you need to even set up the greenhouse is not part of it. Now, what we have done is to use recycled metal, but we do provide both the hard and soft solution. So we use recycled metal and bamboo to put up these greenhouse structures, replacing the expensive parts with eco-friendly materials that would equally last as long and provide the same services that they need to be able to have a greenhouse. Then we also provide them agronomists. Now these agronomists guide them through the production period. So they know that, okay, we have somebody who is coming in and checking in on us that we can consult with when we are facing any farm issues. They have a dedicated production plan to follow throughout the full growing season. And then when it comes to the produce, when they are harvesting, when they are done and they are ready for sales, we have two ways to approach that. We either buy off the produce from them directly, or we link them up directly to our off-takers. So we buy and sell to our off-takers, or we link them to our off-takers. Now, the software part of this comes in when you have farmers that are already existing greenhouse owners or open field farmers. Now they can log into the super app platform and then request for a team to come onto their farms and assess their farms and be able to provide services for them. That's so, okay, I have a greenhouse farm, I'm currently not producing well. Can your team come in and help me do this and this and that? Then we have the e-commerce portion. People who are producing, we go in and assess their produce. Do they meet certain standards of our various off-takers? Then we invite them to have access to the platform and then list their produce there and trade with off-takers. So in all of these things, you're able to make various levels of commission and, you know, make commissions in various stages here. But we do the soft and the hard solutions. So one, we do the greenhouse construction and farm setup, and then we also provide the software management tools to be able to manage the greenhouses. For some instances, we have people who are looking at having highly automated greenhouses. So that is where they have a dedicated software built for them to be able to handle their whole management, farm management on their farms here.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges, for your questions. Thank you very much, Anaporka. You may drop off the call and we'll be in touch with you over the next few days. Thanks, Anaporka. Bye for now. Okay, so I think we can bring in a mail. We have Donald Mudenge from Mbeu, Yedu. I'm going to bring him into the room now. Good morning, Donald. Hi, Donald, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear and see you well. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
Jen.
So you have a minute to introduce yourself and your venture. This minute is not part of your 3-minute pitch, as you know. So
Okay.
Please just introduce yourself and go straight into your pitch. Thereafter, the judges will ask you questions for about 5 minutes or so. So when you're ready, Donald.
Okay, thank you. So just to say good day to everyone, I just want to start off by thanking you for this opportunity. So my name is Donald Mudenge, as Jen just mentioned now, and I am the founder of an Agri-FinTech company called Mbeu Yedu, which is Zimbabwe registered and was established early 2021. So yes, that's my initial introduction. So can I move in then to my 3-minute section, Jen?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Okay, so just as I mentioned now, Mbeu Yedu is an agri-fintech platform. And well, Mbeu Yedu basically means our seed in the Shona language. And we provide a digital community seed bank services to smallholder farmers. So community seed bank services, or CSBs, they play an important role towards food and nutrition security in Zimbabwe, thereby making them a bulwark against climate change impacts, with droughts negatively impacting smallholder farm activities and productivity. Mbeu Yedu therefore promotes the connection and increases interaction between the farmers and the CSBs to enable farmers to access more drought-resilient seeds through the CSBs in terms of droughts. So we therefore offer an end-to-end multifaceted smallholder farmers agri-fintech support platform with agronomic information designed to help farmers understanding of what seeds to plant, all the way to selling their produce through our market linkages. So our three main components include seed succession, agricultural value-added services, as well as a payment mechanism. So having partnered with the Community Technology Development Trust in Zimbabwe, of which CTDT, as they are also known, actually an aggregator of the community seed bank services in Zimbabwe. So we have thus far introduced our service to over 50,000 smallholder farmers through 20 CTDT community seed bank within 14 rural districts of Zimbabwe. And with the community seed banks operating as Yedu's over-the-counter service dispensation points, our business model is commission-based through the provision of agricultural value-added services, bill payments, as well as merchant fees, which we acquire through our M-Commerce portal. So we aim to reach a total of 2.5 million farmers as active users of our platform in the next 2 years. We are also at an advanced stage of implementing our agricultural commodity tokenization system, which is the Mbeu token, of which will facilitate farmers to tokenize their grain and seeds as a trading and collateral instrument that they can use when borrowing from our partner microfinance institutions. So we also are looking to leverage our partnership with CTDT to enter 6 other African markets and facilitate smallholder farmer-driven balance of payments and thereby expanding the farmers' opportunities. Should we win the 10,000 prize money, then we will invest this towards our community seed bank digitization efforts and set up a biodiversity registry with data metrics that will drive sovereignty through smallholder farmers. We are currently a team of 5 skilled and results-driven professionals with experience in payment systems, merchant solutions, as well as community engagement. So in these 3 minutes, I will say this is who we are, and thank you again for this opportunity. And as we believe that with your support, we can propel smallholder farmers to the status of mainstream agricultural market contributors and achieve food and nutrition security in our communities as well as our countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Over to Barbara to ask a question, and then to Nixon for a question, please.
Thanks very much. Hey, Donald. Thank you very much. I don't know if it was my network that was breaking up a little bit, so I lost. I was losing a bit of what you had to say. Yeah. So let me take us through it. Mbeu Yedu, you are talking about digital seed bank services.
That's correct.
Agronomy services. You've reached 50,000.
Yes, it includes agronomics.
It includes that. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
You talk about having reached 50,000 farmers, registered them on your platform in 14 rural districts?
That's correct.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you really to explain for me what your revenue has been since you started. You've already told us what your revenue collection points are. How well have you done in terms of money?
Yes, thank you so much, Barbara. Okay, so what we've in essence done so far is by partnering with microfinance institutions as well as farmers markets such as the Aspindale Farmers Market, we have actually now enabled through our platform, a direct linkages to markets whereby the farmers using our platform can actually now sell their produce first and foremost through this platform, and therefore now it is now through the selling of their produce to the markets, whereby we then levy a commission fee, which is around 2% if it's going to be merchant fees. And then we also have other fees, such as the selling of agricultural value services through the insurance mechanisms. So through this, the insurance, our fee around that is actually 3% that we charge. So now, given the 50,000 farmers that we've already started with, well, there has been a positive uptake, especially number one, around the linkages to markets, whereby what has also happened now is because of time, I didn't mention what's called the Champion Farmer Seed Cooperative, which is another initiative of the Community Technology Development Trust, whereby farmers have also begun to produce seeds through the champion seeds. What we're also doing now is to enable now these farmers to sell their seeds. Like I mentioned, it's mostly the drought resilient seeds such as sorghum, pearl millet, as well as legumes such as groundnuts and what have you. So we therefore now facilitate the selling of the champion seed farmers to our platform. Now, with the champion seed farmers, we're finalizing the integration in that regard, because ultimately it's not only going to benefit the smallholder, to benefit the household consumers, but we are also looking at actually implementing this, in a broader sense, through the grain marketing board as well. So, but there has actually been success metrics to this initiative, because just in the past year alone, these farmers have actually produced about 49 metric tons of certified seeds. So it's actually been a very good fit in Zimbabwe, and so through that we therefore now enable these m-commerce capabilities to sell that seed, not only to households but also to in a commercial sense, like to the commercial consumers in that regard, such as the grain marketing boards. So that's actually been the success that we've had so far, and the interaction between the farmers and our platform, especially being driven by the community seed banks, has also been very encouraging, because we have set up the portal for the community seed banks to actually register themselves, and then also facilitate direct registrations through these CSPs by the farmers who otherwise do not have access to mobile devices. In that regard, yeah.
So how much have you made? Money?
Okay. So in terms of revenues now, we have made about simply just directly from commission. All right, that's around $6,000 and dollars in dollar sense, and this was actually from the beginning of this year. All right. And so now, but in terms of the revenues now, because remember, we also cater for the champion seed farmers, of which we do not necessarily have to keep track of the revenues that they actually make on their side based on the platform, but it's mostly related to the commission that we actually earn. So I'd say the commission so far has been in the region of around $6,000.
6,000 from the beginning of the year. And your costs? What have your costs?
Then the cost around, yes. Well, the operating cost, obviously in this case, it has to do with the servers management, as well as the other implementations, such as the integration costs as well. In rolling out these the merchant integrations. So I would say our costs in that regard, they range around there would basically be around 20% of that. All right, meaning that the cost component is very low, because we do not charge our number one, we do not charge our merchants to integrate with them, and they also do not charge us to integrate with them. But it is now just a back end management we need to facilitate, and therefore that's what actually does that cost.
Okay.
Do you have one more question, Barbara?
No, I'm good. Let me hear from the other judge. Yeah.
Thank you. Nixon, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Donald. I know access to finance is one of the critical issues that smallholder farmers face. But are you offering just finances in terms of credit facility, or are you also offering credit in terms of product, in terms of input product, or are you only limited to financing some of money?
Yeah, so thanks so much for that question, Nixon. So what we are basically doing now in terms of finance, it has to do, with the monetary aspect of it. Okay, not really any other form of support. But now the challenge now, which most of these farmers, smallholder farmers face, it has to do with lack of collateral. So which means they cannot just walk up to any bank and say, they want to borrow X amount of funds, without that collateral. So that's actually a challenge, and that is not just prevalent in Zimbabwe alone, but also across other African markets. What we've therefore done now in that regard is, as I mentioned as part of my pitch, we have actually started, engagements with the Central Bank of Zimbabwe, as well as the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, implement a decentralized finance protocol system through which we intend to roll out the Mbeu Yedu token. Now, the Mbeu Yedu token is actually going to use, these community seed banks to facilitate the immobilization of seeds by the farmers, such that if a farmer wanted to go and borrow from one of our partner finance institutions, and if they do not have collateral, but they've got seed at this point, so they cannot use seed as collateral, but what they can do now is to use our Mbeu Yedu token system, actually immobilize X amount of seed, and then we then generate or issue a token, to that to the equivalence of that seed. So it is now through this seed, the token which now gets embedded the farmer's wallet, which they can then use to actually borrow, or access credit from our partner finance institutions. So through the engagements that we've already had with our finance institutions, they understand the model and they are very much open to it. But then, of course, like I said, we just needed to then get the go-ahead, or rather the green light from the Central Bank of Zimbabwe, of which in principle, they've basically said we should be able to achieve that because, like I said, the Mbeu Yedu token is going to follow decentralized finance protocols, meaning there is going to be less involvement by the banking institutions or also the central bank, because it's decentralized in that regard. So they understand the model and they're very much supportive of it because, in Zimbabwe, I don't know how much you know about the country, but they've also introduced gold coins, as a way to actually address, the financial crunch on the market. So now this Mbeu Yedu token basically follows the same principle, but then in this case, we're saying the seeds are actually the asset which the farmers have easy access to. And so hence the reason that we are actually following this token principle. So it's actually going to be monetary in the sense that we're going to enable collateralization through the token in this case, but 100% monetary regardless.
So in terms of scalability, what is the plan?
Come again? In terms of
scalability, scaling your product.
Yes. Okay. So now, well, with regards to scalability, so at the moment we are using the community seed banks, as over-the-counter dispensation points for our services, right? And for us, that actually works because there is already trust, between these community seed banks and the farming communities that they serve. So at the present moment, there is already 20 community seed banks in 40 districts. These are rural districts of Zimbabwe. And the plan is to actually have at least one community seed bank in all the 59 districts of Zimbabwe. So we are basically going to leverage on this relationship with the community seed banks to reach out and rather to penetrate the farming communities because the community seed banks are already there. And then over and above that, also with the rollout of a mobile-based platform, which can also facilitate, feature phone services such as USSD. We are also going to then, in addition to facilitating the registration of the farmers through the community seed banks, we're also going to enable more marketing by push messages through the application that we provide. So that's actually part of our scalability strategy.
Thank you very much. Over to Jen.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Donald. You may drop off the call and we'll be in touch with you over the next few days.
Okay, thank you.
Bye for now.
Yes, bye. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, are we still good, judges, to proceed? Or does anyone need to take a break? Can we carry on? Okay, let's continue. So next we have Esther from FarmerLifeLine Technologies. And for the questions, we'll allow Barbara Mzata and Nixon. So bringing Esther into the room now. Esther's audio is connecting. She should be with us shortly. Good morning, Esther. Hi, Esther. We hope your audio is functioning well now. How are you? Esther, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Welcome. So if you can introduce yourself for about a minute and then go straight into your pitch, and thereafter the judges will ask you a few questions. So when you're ready, Esther, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. My name is Esther Wanjiro Kimani. I'm the founder of FarmerLifeLine Technologies. Having a background in computer science, I just found passion in coming up with solutions in different sectors, and my heart landed in agriculture. So I'm glad to have this opportunity here to pitch and to sell my story to you.
Thank you, Esther. And when you're ready, you may go into your pitch.
Okay, so I've been born in Nyandarua County on the slopes of Mount Kenya, where we majorly depended on agriculture for our livelihood. So year in and out, I realized that our crops were destroyed because of delayed identification of pests and diseases. Not only that, wrong application of farm chemicals due to wrong diagnosis. So having a background in computer science and meeting an able team, we were able to come up with a device to solve this problem. So the device has a camera that takes photos of a farm, and in any instance that it notices a pest or a disease, it immediately notifies a farmer through a text message on their phone. So it also has a solar panel to power the device. And once it is mounted in the farm, it works 24/7. Well, we've had a number of competitors in this area. One are mobile applications, but for this, they will require a farmer to walk around many acres of land, taking photos of leaves each and every day so that they can get the pests in good time or even the disease, unlike our device that is there in the farm 24/7. Also, the traditional methods of walking around the farm to identify any pests or disease. And if the land is so big, then they are not able to cover enough ground to detect it. Our business model, we sell the device at $20 or lease it at $1 per month. We are also seeking to commercialize the data because government and non-governmental organizations need this kind of data for decision making in agriculture. We have so far worked with 2,200 farmers in Kiambu County with 386, proving that they have increased their yields by 75%. We are looking to scale not only in the region that we are in Kiambu, but also in Kenya to at least 1.5 million farmers by 2023 and reach even the African market to around 3.5 million farmers by end of 2023 as well. We work with a team that is really in agricultural economics, marketing, as well as business management to also help us in managing the business. We are seeking to raise at least 15,000 US dollars. Reason being, we need to purchase more devices. More devices will mean more farmers' lives impacted, more data collected, and more income being generated. We also want to train more farmers on the use of the device, and this will really come in handy when it is supported financially. We also want to get partnerships with CALRO and other agricultural organizations in Kenya, East Africa, and Africa as well to help us in growing this solution. We have reached out to a number of farmers who have appreciated the use of the device and the simplicity of the text message that we can, and to see the lives of farmers being improved. I invite you to join us and to partner with us in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Barbara Mzata, do you have a question for Esther?
Hi, Esther. Can you hear me? You are breaking up. I don't know if it's my network or yours. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Perfect. Well done. And I always get excited to meet young people, women doing something great for themselves and the communities. Esther, my question is simple. Are you making any money? And maybe can you just share with us how you've seen the transformation in the lives of the communities of farmers you're working with? Are you making any money? I would love to know.
Yes, we are through the selling of the device, and we realized that also other farmers prefer the leasing instead of the purchasing it at $20. So far, we've raised a revenue of around 500,000. And if you subtract some costs that came along with it of around 200,000, then we were left with 300,000 in our pockets. That is in terms of Kenyan shillings. Then the reception that we got when we did the prototype of the device is that it was reactive. It was only telling a farmer that there is a pest or a disease. So we went back and ensured that it is making them proactive. That is telling them there is this disease or this pest, and these are the remedies that you can have, both organic and inorganic.
So how do you get your data that you push out to the farmers? Can you maybe share that process with us?
Okay, so once the device has taken a photo and immediately it has noticed a pest or a disease on the farm, it communicates to the farmer through a text message on the phone. That text message, the farmer does not pay for it. It's free, just like any other message that can come to their phone. So it will notify them if it is in a potato farm that you're having some potato bugs, and these are the remedies that you can take. If it's something simple like maybe vinegar and soap water, they can easily use that before they can even get to the other inorganic. But the good thing is that it is detected. It does not wait for the destruction of the crops to notify a farmer. Immediately a sign is noted on the crop, the farmer is notified. It is through that text message. Then also, after it has sent that message, it collects all that information on a dashboard. So this dashboard is what is saying that in this region, this pest has affected this disease, it has these climatic conditions. So if there are any decisions that need to be made regarding the pests control or the disease control in that area, it can easily be done through that dashboard.
Thanks. Maybe I wasn't very clear. I wanted to understand who feeds the device. Does it take pictures by itself, or somebody actually has to take a picture and upload? I was trying to understand that. Yeah.
At the beginning, the device already has access to a global database of diseases and pests. Okay, so it knows a plant when it is healthy and when it has a disease. That is at the development of the device. Then once it is mounted in the farm, by itself, it is able to take photos of the crops. So it compares what it is seeing on the farm and what it has been fed with as healthy as well as infested. So once it compares, it is able to see that this one is infected, this one is healthy, and hence if it's affected, it sends a notification. This database, we don't do it ourselves. It is publicly available to anyone because global researchers keep updating that database. So for the device, it's only fetching information from that pool of information.
Nixon, over to you before I ask any more questions.
Still on what Barbara was asking on the detection and all. Do you have particular crops that you have modeled your AI to detect some of these crops, or what crops are we looking at that have been modeled around the AI technology that you have that can be easily detected using your image?
We've not modeled it to specific crops because you see the database that we are using, it's a global database. So it has a wide variety of crops. So whether I use it in Kenya, I go to East Africa, I go to Uganda, Tanzania, you see, it can monitor any crop. Whichever part of the world you take the device, it will still be useful. It can identify potatoes, it can go to bananas, it can go to pyrethrum, any crop. That API, and as you're saying, the artificial intelligence is able to compare any crop that the camera is able to capture.
Okay, so the comparison here is just the leaf itself. That if you take a picture, it takes a picture of the leaf, then it would, send to your system, and your system is able to pick up any variants in the leaf and detect what kind of infection that is. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and not only the leaf, but whichever part of the plant is within the radius of the device, it will be able to detect.
Okay. In terms of numbers, how many farmers are you reaching currently?
We've started with 2,200 in Nyandarua and Kiambu. So these are people that we want to see how this is going to impact their farms. But we have, within these, we have 386 who are within a region called Githongori. We tested it on their farms, and they were able to increase their yields by 75%. So we even got a recommendation from an NGO in the region called FarmLink. So they realized that there's a season that the farmers did not use the device. Then we came in and brought them to the 386 just to see the impact that it would have if they were doing timely detection of the diseases and the pests. So with this, we saw that improvement in terms of their yields and their their response when they get to the pests and the diseases before it's too late.
So what is your plan for what is your plan for scale up to scale to maybe not just Githunguri and the other areas, but other areas in the country and then maybe beyond?
After we've impacted this 2,200, we want to move on to the entire of Kenya. If you look at us, around 75% of the population in Kenya, you find them as farmers. So we started with Nyandarua and Nyeri because that is where we know, Nyandarua and Kiambu, where we've seen the large scale as well as small scale farmers with this device. So if we are able to get a recommendation as well from this 2,200, as well as partner with organizations like CalRO, these ones are more known to farmers. It will be easier for us now to penetrate the Kenyan market with the other farmers. So we've begun with this 2,200. We intend to get to at least 1.2, 1.3 by the end of 2023.
Okay, so what would be the interest of you partnering with CalRO?
CalRO is a research institute in Kenya. And it has different programs on research, and it's a trusted body here in Kenya. So for credibility, we'd also want to partner with such. Then they've also penetrated like the small scale farmers. They know how even this technology can flow to them. They know the language that they use also with these farmers. And for us, like for me, I'm in tech, and them being a partner that can come in with the research aspect of it, I think we will gain more credibility with CalRO. On top of that, if this device is bringing in data from different regions in the country, I believe a body like CalRO will be really interested in such kind of data being collected from different parts of the country regarding pests and diseases, so that even when they are doing their research, they are aware a certain pest affects a certain area in a certain period during certain seasons and the like.
So how do you make your money?
Selling of the device at $20. Then if a farmer is not able to sell it, to buy it at $20, we lease it at $1. That's around 100 shillings per month. So the device still remains to be ours, but they can still use it at 100 shillings. Then the good thing, and also the commercialization of the data. Now that we have a dashboard that can collect all this data, we are also seeking to commercialize. A value will be given depending on whoever is interested with this data. The good thing about that price is that one device can service 3 to 5 households, depending on the kind of tracts of land that they have. And if it is in a sloping kind of a landscape, one device on this part of the slope can still service another household. So if they want to purchase it, 2 households can divide the $20, and instead of buying it at $20, one can give 10, the other one 10, or lease it at half of 100 shillings. So this is 50 shillings per month.
So Esther, if I buy it for $20, that's it. You walk away and all you get is data every month or whenever. Is that my understanding?
Yes, that is it.
So if I'm a farmer and I just have this device of yours, like now what Barbara asked is that it now belongs to me, right? Once you sell it, once I buy it at $20, it belongs to me. What else other services can I get from the device apart from, crop and paste?
Also security of your farm. You see with the camera, it also comes with something like a CCTV technology with it. So you are still able to monitor. Because remember, some people, if I'm in Kiambu, I might be having a farm in Kiambu, but I also have another one in somewhere like Laikipia. And I would want to monitor my farm as well. So with this kind of a camera, it's not only taking photos, but it also has a CCTV aspect to it. So you are still monitoring your farm from where you are, at the same time being notified of the crops and diseases. And on our end, we are able to collect this data.
Esther, there are so many questions in the chats. One is, how do you plan to use the money to scale up one? And secondly, somebody is asking, do you have the device with you? It would be lovely to see it. And third, how many hectares does it cover? If you place it, because you're saying it can serve up to five households, right? So please show it to us if you've got it on. We would love to see it, and then tell us, the other.
I don't have it. I may not have it with me here at the moment. I didn't vary it. It has a large mounting, something like a stem, you see, then with the camera, then a solar panel at the top. So I don't have the physical device here. I didn't carry it along with me here. Then there was the question of the size of land that it can cover. It has a radius of 300 meters. So if you're talking about 300 meters on a 180 degree, or even more, depending on how much farther it can pass the pole and the like. So that's quite a large coverage. If it is 300 meters, even if we take 180 degrees of coverage, that's quite a lot of land.
And just a complementary question to that, I see Ken has asked whether you've been able to develop this solution yourself. And on that, just 2 questions. Do you already have, say, private sector partnerships who can be able to get this data and who can be able to use this data? And secondly is, while you sell it at 2,000 Kenya shillings or $20, how much have you invested into creating the device? Each device, when you're just looking at that device, how much does it cost per unit?
Okay, I've had quite a number of questions from you, Victor. Thank you. Let me start with the cost. We had first thought of having it here in Kenya, manufacturing it ourselves here in Kenya, but the cost that came about with the manufacturing it here took us almost to a loss or a very negligible margin of profit. So we resolved to import it. So we signed a manufacturer's agreement to only have it designed for us or developed for us as FarmerLifeLine Technologies. We are able, the cost is $9. That's 900 shillings for us. Then when we are selling it at 2,000 shillings, our profit margin is 1,100 per device. Then if we are leasing it, by the 9th month that someone is using this device, we've already recovered the cost of our device. And from there, henceforth, that is now our profit margin. Was there any other question that I missed, Victor?
Private sector partnerships. Yeah. We use the data.
Oh, partnerships. Oh, yes. We started with FarmLink International, that we are saying is located in Githunguri, first to assist farmers there. We see how they can use it. So for them, we approach them as on a friendly partnership first to see how this device would benefit them first as an organization. Then when we look at our terms, we look at also CalRO. Now, we began some conversations with them because you see, you cannot just come in and say that you're selling this data to them and it is farmers. So there are still some conversations around an organization like CalRO. We also had one in Kikuyu called FarmCare. It's a group of cooperatives that came together and are helping farmers in different value chains. So they also want to see the kind of data that they can help their farmers collate to just remedy the common problems that they are having, even in that area of Kikuyu. So I can say we have FarmLink, we have CalRO, and we have the FarmCare in Kikuyu. Then also for our distribution channels, we found that agrovets interact with farmers more often than we can go to the farmer. So we want to work with also the agrovets in the distribution, also cooperative societies, then when we can now go to the farmer and now sell the idea to them.
Thank you very much, Esther. And thank you, judges, for your questions. Esther, you may drop off the line and we'll be in touch early next week.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Sorry, Jane.
I think I lost connection there. Esther seems to have dropped off now. So now we will have Aisha from Farms to You, letting her into the room now. Aisha's audio seems to be connecting. We can just give her a few seconds. Welcome, Aisha. Hi, Aisha, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can.
Thank you. Welcome. Are you feeling better today?
I am. I do apologize. I have a bit of a cold. But yeah, I am feeling much better. Thank you, Jane.
Good to hear. So as you know, you've got a minute to introduce yourself and your venture. That minute is not part of the 3-minute pitch that you've been practicing. And thereafter, the judges will ask you a few questions. So when you're ready, please go ahead.
Sure. Good morning or hello, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Aisha Raheem, and I am CEO and co-founder of Farms to You. We are a food tech data-driven company that helps smallholder farmers operate at commercial scale using data. What I mean by that is essentially helping smallholder farmers access supply side services with a focus on farmers accessing affordable capital from financial institutions, accessing high quality inputs such as seeds and fertilizer from input providers, and finally accessing fair prices from buyers as well. The reason why we focus on this area is really because smallholder farmers, given their size, are unable to get competitive prices from the supply side. So if I take, for example, when a farmer needs to access a loan, lenders are often unable to accurately assess the risk of a farmer. For instance, the farmer would be asked questions like, what is their monthly income? Or asked for due diligence documents like their payroll. Now, these data points are not pertinent to a farmer. More accurate ways of assessing a farmer's risk is, for instance, looking at things like what is the farmer's average yield compared to the market yield? What is the farmer insured for area yield or crop yield as well? These are more pertinent data points that help smallholder farmers better assess the risk. And with the lenders being able to assess farmers' risk better, they're able to charge farmers much lower interest rates. This is where FarmCU comes in. We act as a conduit between smallholder farmers and supply side providers. The example I just gave with financial institutions actually helps farmers access loans at lower interest rates by up to 80% through our operations thus far. We apply the same model when we work with input providers as well as buyers of farmers' produce. We're a youth-driven company that seeks to help structure, using our infrastructure, structure farmers' access to services from supply-side institutions. And our current focus are across financial institutions, input providers, as well as buyers of farm produce. Our impact thus far is growing our user base to 30,000 farmers, of whom we have supported with accessing loans of up to 100,000 USD today. Our monthly recurring revenue is $20,000 US, which we earn through commissions on loans we deploy or farmers' produce that we sell to large off-takers. We're operational in Nigeria and Kenya, and our vision is to scale our user base to 1 million farmers by 2025. The prize money will be used to help scale our operations through hiring, particularly with senior agronomists that would help increase the climate-driven impact of our agronomic practices by our farmers, as well as also improving the infrastructure of our solution. The opportunity to be a prize winner beyond the finance also allows us scale our impact through strategic collaborations. For instance, we work with Hello Tractor, who is a beneficiary of one of the sponsors, Heifer International, on this program. In terms of our impact, we have been recognized by the One Young World as a leading impact company, where we received a social return on investment score of 49 in their 2021 impact reports. I'm also personally a signatory of the United Nations Women Empowerment Principles, so impact is top of mind for me. Thank you for listening to me. I'm happy to take questions about FarmCU and what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. We'll start with Barbara Chivandire and then Ken, please, for a question or two.
Barbara, I can't hear you, you're on mute. Sorry,
Barbara.
Sorry, Barbara, you're on mute.
Oh dear.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Got you now.
Yeah, my arrow remained on the mute button, so as I moved, it kept muting me. But thanks, Aisha, for that pitch. Okay. I like your pitch very much, but let us know. You said that you're recurring from doing your matching of your farmers to access to banking products. just explain to me a little bit how it is that your solution is actually making the big difference in terms of the interest rates that these farmers have been able to access.
Sure. So currently we're averaging interest rates that the farmers access between 9% and 15%. That's the interest rates farmers get from the supply side. So the bank partners we work with, of which we're working with 5 now. Now, that interest rate varies based on the farmer's risk level. But typically, if a farmer were to access finance outside of that solution, they would be getting an average of 20%. This is particularly for the Nigerian market, for instance, if they were to access private capital. The alternative for them is to access government capital, which is very difficult, and the process is quite cumbersome. So how we bridge the gap is because I work very closely with the risk managers at the financial institutions to understand why they charge farmers very high interest rates. And essentially the pricing model is very much the more risky a borrower appears, the higher interest rates the borrower is charged. And typically farmers are considered to be higher interest rate because they're being assessed on using corporate structures that haven't been built for farmers. So it's more so you're asking questions that you would ask someone that has a corporate job or a 9-to-5 in terms of monthly income and things like that. The banks don't have the data points like, is the farmer insured? Does the farmer have an off-taker at the end of the process? Of course, if the farmer is insured, it means that if they have a bad harvest, they are covered. If they have an off-taker, there is a higher, especially from a big buyer and the price is confirmed, there's a higher chance that the farmer has a successful harvest. So we've built a pricing model, a risk scoring pricing model, which assesses the farmer across these different variables, of which we now have a total of 12. And then it provides the farmer with a risk score. So a farmer comes onto our platform, says, I want to grow maize, for instance, this is the size of my land. We tell them the cost of that. Based on the available capital they have, if they don't have sufficient capital, we then suggest to them to apply for capital. Within our web-based platform, we then start the due diligence. We do a proof of identity, proof of address, and then proceed with the risk scoring. This risk scoring, which we call the agricultural due diligence, is really our proprietary solution where we're building out the farmer's risk based on different variables. We then refer that farmer as a lead to a financial institution who then performs financial due diligence on the farmer. So the farmer is then, I suppose, the low risk level is then referred to the financial institution, and the farmer is able to be charged a lower interest rate because of a clearer risk profile. So that's how we essentially operate with the financial model example I gave. We apply this same model in terms of the farmer, for instance, buying produce from sustainable buyers. We ran a project last year in Machakos, Kenya with the Nature Conservancy because they were looking to have their farmers or access regeneratively grown produce. Now, how do you prove a produce has been grown regeneratively? You do that by tracking what inputs have been used, were there harmful chemicals used, and essentially like an end-to-end audit trail. By virtue of the platform, because we track the farmer from, okay, you make a decision. So I go back to the example of the farmer comes onto our platform, wants to grow maize, we tell them how much it is, they don't have enough capital, they access capital. When they start their production, we track the inputs because the capital can actually be taken off the platform. The lender deploys it into the farm's digital wallet. The farmer has to spend it within an ecosystem of approved, verified vendors. And then that provides an audit trail, which the supplier, so the off-taker, then has an audit trail of, okay, what inputs were used in growing this product? And then that meets their sustainability-driven sourcing requirements. For instance, Unilever has a very strict sourcing requirement for palm oil. So this is essentially how we work, and we essentially earn commissions from the transactions with the supply side. So for each loan referral we give up to a bank, we get a commission on that. For transactions of offtake with buyers, we get a commission on that.
So you're commission driven in terms of, is there any money that's coming off of the technology itself that you've built to manage this?
So at the moment, we're still, so currently still commission driven. We're trying to move to a subscription model that is more predictable, particularly because of the quality of the data that we're able to build. So we're also exploring subscription models where there is a monthly fee for accessing the services on the platform. Yeah. At the minute, we're not charging the farmers for sending, I suppose, performing the due diligence on them, but we are also exploring that model of starting to charge farmers. We're doing a test run in Machakos, Kenya, because one of our farmers actually suggested to me that, you know, I've gotten a lot of value from this. We were never looking to charge farmers because of their low margins, but because we're able to help them get lower interest rates and they're able to get better prices from the farmers, their margin is higher. So they have now affordability of the platform. So that's how we're thinking as well of charging or monetizing the technology beyond the commissions being charged.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Yeah, I think you've answered my follow-up questions with that. Thanks very much. I'll let Ken ask.
Thanks, Barbara, and thank you very much, Aisha, for your presentation. Maybe, I'm not sure if I've heard well. For now, you have a revenue of $25,000. This is what you said, eh?
So we're averaging 20K.
20K annually?
No, monthly.
Okay.
So this is based off the last 2 quarters. So we've been able to increase the produce that we've been selling to off-takers, which represent the significant portion of the revenue, and the lowest portion being the revenue from the leads we give to banks.
Okay, so 20K annually. So it's about more than...
So monthly would be...
monthly. So about 2 million something per year.
So that would be averaging 200K annualized.
Oh, okay, yeah, indeed. Yeah. Indeed. And your cost, and basically what I mean is, are you currently profitable?
So we're not at break even, simply because of the investment in the technology, as well as investments in farm field visits, a lot of content as well, in terms of agronomic data. So we're not at break even. We do estimate to be in break even within 15 months. We have been going through a fundraise, and we've been able to raise, we have committed for 400K capital thus far, including BFA Global as well. So this would allow us to further scale our operations and thereby get into break even faster. So we're not at break even yet. But that said, in terms of our transactions, from looking just at the revenue and the cost of revenue, we always ensure a positive margin. So in terms of I guess the lag in terms of getting to break even is very much with administrative costs and costs not directly related to delivering the service.
Okay, and you said that you own the credit score model technology that you are using.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and we have a number of players that are also leveraging data to service farmers, particularly in terms of access to finance. Oh, sorry, in terms of access to finance, for example. So what is your, let's say, value proposition? What is your unique selling point if you want, for example, to compare yourself with competitors, and if you want to convince an investor to give you capital so that you can really scale your business?
I think our ability to have our lean cost model. So as mentioned, from a perspective of just looking purely at the revenue and the cost of revenue, we're very much driven on ensuring positive margin at all times. So that lean cost model that we built helps us to, so we've scaled our user base to 30,000 farmers with a team of less than 10. So that ability to increase attraction at a low cost model is something that we believe is a unique value proposition. In comparison to competitors as well, someone who does something fairly similar to this is Apollo Agriculture. Of course, they're very heavily funded, which is also another reason why we need capital to scale and also ensure that we're able to meet our users' requirements. Our unique value proposition beyond having a low cost model is also the fact that our risk scoring model, we have advisors. So for instance, within one of the leading banks in Nigeria as an advisor who actually is helping us as well to reinforce that risk model. And beyond just leveraging data, we're also looking at how to support the infrastructure end to end. So as mentioned, similar to how our credit score model helps farmers access capital at a lower cost through lower interest rates, we also employ the same thing in farmers selling their produce to off-takers. So this is an end-to-end solution that we don't just look at one part of the production cycle, we're looking at the entire life cycle. But we're not solving all the problems. We're providing infrastructure, for instance, for banks to be able to leverage that data to provide more affordable capital, because banks do want to lend more to borrowers insofar as they can get their money back. Same with the supply side. And this is why we're able to collaborate with other agricultural companies like Hello Tractor, and there are a few others that we work with as well. So that ability to provide infrastructure that is not just focused on farms to use offerings, but also leveraging the ecosystem, so supporting the ecosystem to be more synergistic and to grow the industry is really a unique value proposition where we're not just looking at the growth of FarmStue as a company, but also how can FarmStue crystallize the growth of the entire industry.
Okay, my last question. I've seen that, correct me if I'm wrong, you are hoping to achieve 16,000 farmers in the coming, I don't know if it is in 1 year or 2 years, from 6,000. So I don't know the time frame, but I feel it is not maybe very ambitious in terms of reach, at least, considering maybe how we have been, the number of farmers we have in Nigeria or Kenya. So what do you respond to that?
So that's a valid question, comment. And at the time when we submitted this application, of course, we're at 6K, now we're at 30, and that's through a recent collaboration directly with the Ministry of Agriculture in Nigeria, where they selected us to onboard their farmers, their 30K, the 15K farmers, which they had on their platform, onto accessing finance through our solution. So there is a huge, through that experience, we can actually see that by collaborating with certain type of institutions, we can actually scale that user base faster. Of course, they're very conservative, and we've revised that target upwards based on the capital that we've actually been able to commit of 400K thus far, of which we have a target to get to at least $500,000 US by the end of October. This would also help accelerate that growth even further. In terms of why we were very conservative in our in the estimate of farmers that we wanted to get to, it was because of the learnings we had of those 6,000 farmers. Of the 6,000 farmers, only 10% on our platform were accessing the supply side services we provided. And for us, we felt that that was not an efficient way, that we should at least have the target of 90% of all our 6,000 farmers accessing finance, being able to sell their produce. So the focus was less about onboarding more farmers, but having strong supplier relationships, so that, because there are lots of platforms that have, they say 100,000 farmers, but how many of those farmers are actually getting benefit? So it's not about just calling the numbers of the farmers, but what is the impact the farmer is getting? Is the farmer getting more affordable capital? Are they selling their produce at a more competitive price? So this is where we were looking at, beyond the number of farmers, how strong are the supply side relationships we're building? Which is also why, beyond the capital, working with the likes of Heifer Capital, Heifer International, or even Syngenta Foundation through this competition would allow us further strengthen those supply side relationships, so that the farmers that we do on board get value from.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Aisha. You may drop off the call. We'll be in touch early next week. Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye for now. Okay, so I think we can bring in Israel and just break the monotony a little bit. But before I do that, I would like to welcome Diana and Vanessa. Welcome. And also state that Faith had to drop off. So for the next set of questions, we had Faith and Victor. And so Diana and Vanessa, if you would like to ask a question to our next contestant, Israel, that's also fine. Otherwise, any one of our other judges can jump in. We're progressing quite well. We have, after Israel, we have 4 more. So hopefully at the top of the hour, we can round off, as most of our judges had indicated that they would need to drop off then. So I'm going to bring Israel into the room now. Israel's audio is connecting. He should be ready to join. Hi, Israel. Israel, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Okay.
There you are. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jane. I'm very well, thank you.
Good, perfect. So you know you've got a minute to introduce yourself, and thereafter you can go straight into your 3-minute pitch, and then a couple of judges will ask you a question or 2. So when you're ready and settled, the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, my name is Israel Chigozirim. I am a bioresources engineer and a writer of 3 books, and I'm the co-founder of RiweTechnologies. Agriculture has been termed the most destructive human activity on Earth. Climate and agriculture are in a very toxic relationship cycle, with agriculture contributing up to 30% of greenhouse gas emission, and climate returning the favor with less than 36% on crop yield. Food security declines by 20% with each climate event. Think about that. And that's just the beginning. Africa is forecasted to hit a 3 degrees Celsius warming trajectory. In this scenario, we would lose 30% of our grain production and 60% of our beans production. Smallholder farmers like Ojo in my community are the most vulnerable to shocks due to climate change as a result of low capacity, widespread adoption of legacy practices, and low resilience to adapt and mitigate this crisis. We are changing the narrative. At Riwe, we are developing smart agri-climate solutions to help farmers become more resilient and sustainable in the face of climate change. We are providing farmers with agronomic insight and data to help boost crop yield and mitigate and manage risk. Using our social intelligence algorithm, we suggest to farmers high-performance seeds and crops. The soil is the largest carbon sink on Earth that we have control of, and only farmers can sequester carbon on a large scale. Using our carbon technology, we are helping farmers mitigate and track their carbon footprints. We're also helping them adopt climate-resilient practices, such as carbon avoidance and carbon farming. Through this, they are earning extra sources of income. All of these solutions are available through our proprietary solution, the Farmer's Companion, which is integrated with our internetless gateway, powered by push SMS and programmable voice alerts in over 6 local dialects. Our impacts include, for X productivity, reduced input costs. So far, we provided jobs for over 70 youths as extension agents and field training officers. Also, our solution also reduces impact of climate on the environment. With all of these services, smallholder farmers are happy to pay a service subscription fee of just $5 a month or $30 per season. And this can be paid through mobile airtime, e-banking, or carbon credits. We also charge a 20% commission on all carbon credits we sell. We are targeting a 5% share of the $1 trillion global market in smart agriculture and carbon farming. To scale our solution, we are giving our software licenses to AGRITECH companies who wish to leverage our carbon technology, and we also provide training for same. We're also leveraging data we collect from farmers, and we're helping them reduce their risk of collecting loans, and we charge them a small fee for each loan we help them collect. So far, we have sequestered over 3,000 tons of carbon credits, and we've generated over $60,000 in carbon credits. Our solution is currently used by over 5,000 farmers across Nigeria and Ghana, and we hope to expand to other African countries like Zimbabwe and Morocco in the coming months. 50% of the prize money will be used to acquire 20,000 farmers over the next 12 months. 30% will give us a 3 months runway, and 20% will be channeled towards improving our platform. We are a co-founding team of 3 with over 30 years of combined experience in environmental engineering, bioresources, system design, GIS system, carbon management, business development, and data analysis. Our solution is a win-win for the smallholder farmer, for the planet, for food systems, and for end consumers like you and I. Come join us on this journey. Thank you.
Go ahead, Milka.
Yes, thanks, Israel, and congratulations for getting this far. Really, it's great to see resilience that has gotten you this far. I just have a few questions that I'll ask. Is one, how does your carbon technology work? I think it will be interesting to know about that. And second, how you measure your sequestered carbon, especially from the soil. It's something that is quite abstract and sometimes difficult to measure. So how are you able to quantify the amount of carbon that has been sequestered? And lastly, on agronomic information, I just want to figure out where you get this information, whether you have trusted sources for getting this information, or whether you generate this information yourself. So yeah, those 3 questions.
All right. So to answer your first question on our carbon technology, our carbon technology is a programmed software with algorithms, and we look out for parameters such as emission sources, and also look at emission factors. We have about 6 major greenhouse gases, and each of these greenhouse gases have specific emission factor. We have greenhouse gases like methane, we have carbon fluoride, and we have nitro oxide. So each of these greenhouse gases have specific emission factors. So we measure these emission factors with activities, and with all of this, we're able to develop an algorithm that calculates how much carbon have been sequestered over time. We have carbon partners across Nigeria that who have an exclusive license that will sell our carbon credits to. And for about a hectare of land in a year, we generate about $1,200 in carbon credits per hectare of land. So this is how our carbon technology works. And also, these credits are stored on a carbon blockchain, which we're leveraging with our carbon partner. We store our carbon credits on the blockchain, but on our mobile application, these farmers can track their carbon footprints, and they can also see how much carbon credits they have earned over time. So I think I've answered your first 2 questions. So the third question on our information sources. Our information sources primarily comes from multilateral institutions such as research institutions. Every day, there are new innovations and new developments on high performance crops that smallholder farmers are not aware of. So as a result of this, they keep adopting and keep planting legacy crops that don't yield so much benefits. So we are partnering with research institutions across Nigeria, research crop institutions, and we collect data about new varieties of seeds. And for each farmland we map, for each field we map, we collect certain parameters about the soil, about the weather conditions, and with our social intelligence algorithm, we can tell what particular crop will thrive on that soil. So we fetch data from these research institutions, and we tell the farmer, this is a better yielding seed that will thrive better on your soil. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does make sense. Just a follow-up question on climate change mitigation and smallholder farmers as a solution to it. What have you found in your own working with smallholder farmers, or is there interest in climate change mitigation? It's widely acclaimed that smallholder farmers would only engage in such practices, whether if there is a direct connotation to increased productivity or increased resilience. Increased productivity and increased resilience or climate change adaptation is the entry for climate change mitigation, while creating a solution that really looks at climate change mitigation and sequestering carbon. What has been your experience, especially from smallholder farmers?
Okay, so if I answer that your question, I think I omitted one of the questions you asked earlier on how we sequester carbon. We adopt certain practices such as cover cropping, no tillage, and also through composting also. So all of these activities make up for the validity of our carbon credits, because our partner marketers, they need to know how valid our carbon credit sources are. So all of this no tilling, reduce mulching, and crop rotation help with our credibility. Now, to answer your question, our experience with smallholder farmers, it's been a difficult experience. In our first 6 months, we failed actually. So and the problem was as a result of the digital divide between emerging technologies and the smallholder farmers. And we thought it was all about developing mind-blowing, aesthetically pleasing softwares and going to the smallholder farmers. But in the first 6 months, we failed woefully, and we realized that these smallholder farmers, there is one digital divide, and there is the language barrier. So it makes it difficult for these farmers to adopt emerging and high technologies such as our carbon technology. So what we did was that we had to create an internet-less gateways for smallholder farmers. As data showed us that over 80% of farmers do not have access to stable internet and mobile devices. So we had to create an internet-less gateway, which is powered by push SMS and also a programmed voice call, which is translated in their local languages. So we came down and we spoke the language that they understand. So we brought our technology to them in their local dialects, and we brought it to them. Also, because we are providing an alternative source of income to them, and they don't mind using their giving up their hectares of land for us to help them adopt climate resilient practices. On the adoption, their role isn't so much because we already have field agents who are trained on these carbon practices. So these field agents are the ones who are really bothered with the whole sequestration processes and setting the pace for the soil to begin to sequester carbon. So we realized all these obstacles and we solved them, and the journey so far has been favorable after we failed for the first 6 months. So we're currently having a smooth sail with farmers. Like I said, we have sequestered over 3,000 tons of carbon in the past 18 months. And we're looking forward to sequestering more when we onboard 20,000 more farmers over the next 12 months.
Thank you. I think no more questions from my end.
Israel, this is Nixon, and thank you very much for your presentation. I think this is the first presentation I'm seeing on carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration in Africa is relatively a new, innovation. I didn't get, how long have you been doing it? Sorry, so that I ask my question relevantly.
Okay, we've been doing carbon sequestration for about 3 years, but we've had our most successes. Yes, but we ran to record successes over the past 2 years, roughly 2 years, 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, because carbon sequestration takes a bit of time, and
it does.
I don't know what your experience has been with the smallholder farmers, because I know some of them may not be very patient to wait for 3 years for them to, save maybe 0.01 carbon in their farm and so forth. What has been your experience with this technology and the smallholder farmers, and how are you assuring them that they will actually be earning for keeping carbon on the ground in their farms?
Okay,
and maybe as you answer it also, something that came with, who are you partnering with in terms of this project? Who are your key partners also?
Okay. Okay. All right. So to answer, I'll answer the partner first. We are partnering with there is a company, PowerStove. PowerStove is an energy company in Nigeria, and PowerStove recently secured a deal of over $1 million with the carbon organization in Italy, and so they are our major partner, and some others who are on the side. But Carbon Power Stove has exclusive license to sell our carbon credits. So talking about our experiences with smallholder farmers, just like I pointed out, it's been a very tough one, and just like you mentioned, the patient capital for this smallholder farmers is quite low, because the processes that need to be put in place before the soil begins to capture carbon is very enormous. Yeah. So we have trained field agents who undergo certification courses in carbon sequestration and management. So these field agents work closely with the smallholder farmers, and the way we are able to get their buy-in and their patient capital is this, and we show them the benefits. First, we show them the benefits, and it's not been easy. Like I said, it's not been easy. We show them the benefits that they would get from sequestering carbon. The benefits not just financially, but the benefits to their crops, to their soil. Because these farmers, they've tried various means, and none is working. I will tell you, one of the stories we had was a woman went to our farm, and on going to our farm, you could see a lot of calabash, broken objects. You could tell that she has been performing rituals on how to grow her crops. She has been spending money, but she has not been getting the results she wants. So instead of her doing all of these things and not getting the results, we tell her that, okay, see, we're going to show you a practice that will help your soil, boost yield, and you also earn from adopting these practices. And so far, over the past 2 years, we've recorded successes with over 200 acres of land. Sorry, 200 hectares of land. We've recorded huge successes. And for the next 12 months to 2 years, we hope to record more successes and to get more farmers buying. Currently, our farmers number is just at about 5,000. So, but within the next 12 months, with the prize money, we hope to get 20,000 more farmers to continue to adopt sustainable practices and become climate resilient. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Israel. You may drop off the call, and we'll be in touch with you early next week. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next we have Hussein Abu Bakr, and our judges there would be Barbara, Chivandire, and Ken. Bringing Hussein into the room now. Hi, Hussein, can you hear me now?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you. Would you please turn your camera on for us? Thank you. Thanks, Hussein. So you have a minute just to introduce yourself and your venture. And then, as you know, you've got the 3 minutes to pitch. And then the judges will ask questions for about 5 minutes or so. So when you're ready, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jane, for this opportunity. Hi, everyone. My name is Zara, means small farmer in Arabic. This is my second startup. And when we thought about the idea of Muzara, me and my co-founders, Tamer Rakhi, he's a head of AGRITECH VC fund called AGRF in Kenya, and our third partner is Muhammad Ukasha, the co-founder of Fawri, the first fintech in Egypt and the first unicorn actually in Egypt. We thought that why not create a startup that caters to the agriculture industry and linking small farmers to the market. This is the intro about myself and the team. Shall I start now my pitch for Muzara?
Yes, please, Hussein.
Okay, Egypt has around 8 million farmers, among which are 6 million small farmers, smallholder farmers, which our target are above 1 acre per farmer and below 20 acres. Egypt is one of the top 8 scattered farmland in the world, and has a great agricultural potential. So we made a huge survey around a year and a half before when we were starting the company. What were the great pains of small farmers? the two most pushing problems were commercial issue, what to grow and how to sell it and for how much. And the second problem, okay, now I know what I'm going to grow. How will I finance it? So there are two main financing dips for the farmer: the summer dip and the winter dip, where he keeps paying out and taking on credit the inputs and the costs until he harvests and gets back his money. So we created Muzara. Muzara has four main product or value propositions. The first one is a digital contract farming. So we have electronic contracts linking small farmers to buyers and corporate, mainly corporate exporters and manufacturers, where we go to large corporates who export olives or frozen strawberries, and we sell 1,000 tons of strawberries. Then we go back to back and make contracts with around 25 to 30 farmers to grow those 1,000 tons. And it's an electronic contract with the farmer and the off-taker, and electronic delivery schedule and payment payment plan. This on the app. It's on the app of the farmer and the app of the off-taker. The second value proposition is we do embedded finance. We give the farmer seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides on credit. We don't give him cash in his hands. We give them what's related to the contract, and we'll give better quality and better productivity for the product. So this is called embedded finance, where it has the financial inclusion part, where this we link it to fintech and payment on the card and electronic transfer, so there is no holding of cash, whether in or out. The third product we're working on is digital agronomy support. Besides our app, we have the chatbots and our electronic WhatsApp groups, where we have our experts who give advice to the farmers, and also make farmer acquisition through electronic channels and social media channels with farmers. The fourth product is we're introducing fintech as a financing tool. So now we're talking with banks to start integrating loan products designed for small farmers, and use the contracts, off-take contracts, as collaterals for those financing programs. Now we're talking with 3 large banks in Egypt. This year, this is our second year. We have around 3,000 farmers in our network. We are signing contracts. We have signed contracts around 2,000 in different locations of Egypt. By the end of the year, we'll have around 5,000. And next year, we're talking about 30,000 farmers selling their crops and buying inputs from us and integrated on our fintech platform by the end of 2023. We made a seed round of investment of $1.1 million. We have VC funds participating, whether local or regional. And now we are working on our Series A round. Thank you, everyone, and I hope the pitch was clear.
Thanks very much, Hussein, for that pitch. So I noticed from your presentation and from your paperwork that your submission, you have a number of products that you're giving, that you're developing. Are they all, completed in terms of their development at this stage? They are all deployed? The various solutions that you just let us know about, are they all currently deployed?
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. Do you mean like technology products or crops? Technology?
The technology products.
Yeah, we have the application now. It's downloadable by the farmers, also downloadable by the off-takers, like the buyers. So they both see each other on the application. They have the digital contracts, they have the delivery schedule, and their payment notifications. This is already online for the last 6 months. We have our chatbots and our contact center online, where we have around 15 lady agricultural engineers making daily calls with farmers. This is online for the last 8 months. Fintech, we have our card, the Muzara card, in collaboration with Mr. Bank. It's branded our card, and we give it to the farmers. What's in progress now are two things: the fintech e-wallet and digital financing program. This is not yet digital; it's all done now on our books. And the second product is the agronomy support library, where we're creating a digital support library where the farmer can have a wider array of customized digital agronomy support related to specific problems he have related to the contracted crop.
Okay. So if you were to win this money, what's the money going to do for you? Where are you going to deploy it? If you were to win this competition, the prize money.
Yes, thank you for this question. I think it will be 50% between the tech, pure tech development related to digital agronomy support. We want the farmer to have very specific and timely advice related to the crop that we're going to buy, because it's our crop at the end and we're paying premium on it. So we want to help by creating a relevant, customized, timely digital agronomy kit through our application. This is 50%. The other 50% is related to fintech, where we want to create a KYC, know your customer formula for the banks to see the rating of the small farmer. So this farmer is rated 7 out of 10. The other one is rated 9 because he has fulfilled his harvest and he paid well and he has a good reputation. So this is unheard of in the banking sector in Egypt. If we're able to create a KYC for the farmers that's approved by the government, this alone has value. This is very valuable.
So okay, let's talk money. How much in terms of revenues have you earned since you
last year? Yeah, last year we sold for around $800,000. This is in 2021. 2022, we are expecting to close around $4 to $5 million. To date now, we achieved around $2 million, but we are promising our investors to go with higher speed in the last quarter. So we're expecting to double our sales in just the last quarter. So we're expecting around $4.5 million by December 2022.
Okay. All righty. I'll let the other judge ask.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation, Hussein. And leveraging on Barbara's question, what is your profits today? Because you have, or you are expecting to have 4 million revenue, but in terms of profitability, where are you?
We're expecting to close the year, sir, with around gross margin around 11% gross margin, but we have a negative EBITDA and a negative net profit because we have a high SG&A and a high technology expenditure, and we're building our human capabilities. So we have a negative EBITDA, negative net profit, but a positive gross margin of around 11%.
Okay, and so when do you expect to break even and to be profitable for your investors?
On the EBITDA level, maybe by the end of 2023, maybe by H1 2024.
Okay, so how many farmers have you reached currently? Are you servicing? Because I'm not sure I've seen that number clearly in your the document that presenting you, especially now that you are reaching sales of about 4 million.
We have in our network around 8,000 farmers, but the farmers that we are contracted with, that we buy the crops and sell them inputs are between 3,000 to 4,000.
And you think that these numbers will be sufficient for you to be profitable by next year?
No, we are increasing fivefold year on year. So next year, we're expecting to have contracts with around 15 to 20,000 farmers, and to have in our total network around 50,000 farmers who we communicate with and gather data from and give them advice. But contracts-wise, next year we are targeting 5x. 5x. You're talking about end of 2023, right?
Yeah. So by end of
we're
with
targeting
5,000, you'll be profitable. Okay.
No, 4 million of sales are coming from around 3,000 farmers. We are negative on the EBITDA level. So we're expecting by end of next year to have sales around $15 million. And we're talking about 18 months from now coming from around 15 to 20,000 farmers contracted delivering crops to us. We're talking about 20 crops. We're talking about olives, peppers, strawberries, white beans, sesame. We have around 15 to 20 crops that we are currently working on.
Okay, so you said that you have a payment function enabled on your platform, if I understood well. Are you working with a certification authority to also give a confidence to your customers?
So we're talking about the payment, right?
Yeah. Who certifies the system?
Yeah, currently we have a prepaid card on branded our name from Misr Bank. This is the largest government bank in Egypt. And we're talking now with the central bank to have future licensing to create electronic payments, included credit payments, and provide credit on the card. Now it's a prepaid card, so it's just a debit card. But we need to have an e-wallet and to integrate the API with the bank in order to increase the usability of this card and link it to the phone of the farmer. So it will take time. It could take from 6 to 12 months.
Okay. And who is or who are your current investors, those who invested $1 million?
We have 3 institutional investors in Egypt, AGRA Ventures, DisrupTech Ventures, and we have EFG. It's a large investment firm in Egypt. And Egypt Ventures, it's a government-related VC fund, so it's a small ticket, but most of the other 3 are the largest. And our Series A round now, we're talking with the Endeavor Catalyst in California, and we're talking with other Include, but no, it's not yet closed. I'm talking about what closed and the money was in already.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Hussein. We'll be in touch with you over the next few days or early next week. Thanks for making the time, and bye for now.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, next up we have Caleb Edwards, WamiAgro, and for Judges Day we have Nixon. And we can have Barbara. I know she had to drop off for a bit. Barbara Mzata. So let's see if she'll be back by then. Bringing Caleb into the room now. Hello, Caleb.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Can you turn on your camera for us, please?
I'm very well. I didn't hear that.
Could you please turn on your camera?
All right, so
we can see you.
Yeah, I'm doing that right away.
Thank you, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you. I'm wondering if you can see, because I can see my screen.
We can't see you yet.
Because I've turned it on.
Do you want to turn it off and on again?
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think I'm logged in elsewhere. Okay.
There you are.
Like, okay.
We can see you now, Caleb. Okay, so you have a minute to introduce yourself, as you know, and that minute is not part of the 3 minutes that you've been practicing. And thereafter, the judges will ask a few questions. So when you're ready, go for it.
Okay, so I am Caleb Edwards, co-founder and CEO WamiAgro Limited. I live in Ghana, and Wami is my second company I founded. The first one was a management consulting firm, and the last 3 years I've been working as CEO of WamiAgro. Yeah, that's a brief intro of me so far.
Perfect, and when you're comfortable, you can do your 3-minute pitch.
Okay. Can I shoot now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 60% of the world's arable land is in sub-Saharan Africa, yet we produce about 10% of the world's agricultural output. Over 70% of the farmer population are smallholder farmers and have 3 major problems: inadequate capital investment, limited access to market, and lack of information. WamiAgro provides 3 digital bundled agricultural solutions and services. We have Wami Credit, which is input finance for small-scale farmers to access agri inputs on credit and pay back with produce. We also have Wami Credit, which we also have Wami Market, where we buy produce from the farmers and supply to our third-party trade partners, usually factories and wholesalers. We have Wami Info, where we share information with our farmers in their native language. Our business model has 3 revenue streams: management fees, which is up to 20% of the net profits of the farmers we support. Then we have sales revenue, which is 30% markup on the sale of produce. And then our partners who are agri-input companies give us 5% commission when we give them access to our farmers. We have a network of 11,300 farmers. We have provided input financing to about 1,000 of them and market access to over 5,000 farmers. We observed about 40% revenue increase from our farmers and about 70% reduction in post-harvest loss. Our revenue last year was about $300,000, and we are on track to reach $1 million this year. We've been testing in Ghana the last 3 years, and we are targeting 10% of the $4 billion market share. We aim to achieve this by partnering 200 farmers by next year. We seek to replicate this model in 5 other countries in sub-Saharan Africa. We seek a debt finance of $500,000 to be able to provide input financing to over 20,000 farmers by next year. The $10,000 award from PITCH AGRIHACK will enable us to provide additional input financing to at least 100 farmers. We have 2 co-founders and a staff strength of 20, who are led by a highly skilled management team of 6 with a collective experience of over 50 years in entrepreneurship, agribusiness, finance, and tech. We are poised to make significant impact with our 3-feature solution, which tackles 3 critical problems of smallholder farmers, which generates 3 revenue streams of income. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Khaled, for the pitch, and congratulations for reaching this far too. You did say that your platform offers credit on seeds, generally inputs, including mechanization.
Yes.
It would be interesting to see who are you working with in mechanization and how is this structured to work? Is your digital platform providing access to tractors, or how are the farmers getting the tractors? It would be good to have you at least explain how this is structured with your digital platform.
Okay, so with mechanization, just as with all our agri inputs, what we do is to work with the farmers in cooperatives. So in farmer-based groups. Then we also work with third-party vendors who we negotiate some deferred payment terms. So our farmers can have the mechanization services on credit, and then they pay back with produce. So we are in charge of collecting the produce and paying the third-party vendors we have entered the project with. So that's how we've been working.
So who are your partners in this mechanization?
We have a number of them. We have Samak Agribusiness. They're all in Ghana. So we have Samak Agribusiness. We have Agro Africa Limited. Yeah, these are the main two.
Okay, so you don't work with the ones that we know, like Allo Tractor and so forth.
Yeah. We've been talking, but I think they are overburdened. So usually they are not available for us. They have more work than they can actually do. So we've been talking.
Yeah, so you did say that you offer inputs credit in form of seed and fertilizer. How do you recover your money? Do you offtake the farmers, or how do you then recover the money from the farmers?
Right. So before we start any farming project, we start with an agreement with the cooperative. So usually the cooperative will have a set of bylaws, what punitive measures there are if anybody defaults. We agree on all of those terms. Then our next step is to close contracts with our third-party trade partners. So for instance, we have Diageo, we have Olam, we have Wilma. These are multinationals who require the goods, but usually because of unreliable supply chain, they like to import. So when we get to them with what we can offer, then we close the offtakes. Then our next step is to get the farmers oriented and follow our protocols, so we meet the standards that our off-takers are looking for. And one of the agreements we have with the farmers is that we have to take care of the harvesting. That's a very critical stage. So unlike a lot of other aggregators, they actually allow the farmers to pay back the produce, but we bring up the intervention where we are involved in the harvesting. So we take charge of the stock, and then we take what is due us. And then if the farmer wants us to purchase the rest of the produce that is due the farmer, we do that. Or sometimes they take their produce away. So that's how we've managed to have less than 5% non-performing loans.
Oh, so basically what you do is that you take the product of the farmer and deduct your credit and then leave the farmer with the rest.
Exactly. And in most instances, more than 90%, they ask us for the money instead of the produce. So the outstanding balance that belongs to them, they prefer we pay them some mobile money or bank accounts.
Yeah, okay, that is interesting. So in your database, how many farmers do you have currently?
11,300. But we're looking to scale to 200,000 by next year.
To 200,000 by next year. That's a very big leap. How do you intend to do that?
Yes. We have a huge pipeline. There's about 5 million smallholder farmers in Ghana alone.
Yes.
And it's a huge pipeline. But we wanted to start gradually and really figure it out. So we use the 11,000 to test our platform and field officers and model. But now we figured it out and we can easily scale.
So you figured it out. You are aware that there are competitors also that are in your ecosystem, right?
Yes.
So, so what is the value proposition that you have figured out that is going to get you to 200,000 and not your competitors?
I think we have a good problem because our competitors are actually collaborative, because the real demand we are not able to meet. For instance, Ghana is importing over 1 million tons of maize and rice each year. and locally we are not able to meet even 40%. So our competition is very healthy because there's more that we can do. And so on that note, usually we actually agree not to interfere in our territories. So for instance, there's FarmerLifeLine that has about 1 million farmers, but none of their farmers are our farmers. And we are happy to work together. It's a huge problem we are all trying to fix. So it's a good problem for now.
So do you want to go beyond vegetable production, or you want to stick to vegetable production?
No, we are doing mainly the staples, grains and cassava, just 5 staples for now. Maize, rice, soya, sorghum, and cassava. Because they are the main staples in Ghana and Africa for now.
Okay. So what is your business model? How do you earn your money?
So
apart from, of course, okay.
Yeah, 3 streams. We call one the management fee, which is up to 20% of the net profit of our farmers we support. So whatever we give them, we take back 20% of their profit. And then that's for the year, annual. So usually it's 1 season per year, usually. So it's annual fee of 20%. They pay us back in produce. That's one stream. The other stream is sales revenue. So the produce we buy at farm gate prices, but then we package and supply to a third party at market price. And usually there's a markup of up to 30%. So that's our main revenue model. And then the partners, the third party input companies we work with, they are happy to give us 5% commission. They give it to us at wholesale price, and then we can lend to the farmers at retail price. So that's how we've been operating the last 3 years.
Thank you. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Caleb. Thank you. You can drop off the call now, and we'll be in touch with you early next week.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye for now. Okay, so now we will bring in Milka. She's our second last contestant. She's from AGRITECH, and the questions can be asked by Victor and Barbara if she's back. So before I let her in, I just wanted to say if there are any other pressing questions that you feel will impact your decision, please email them through. We can ask the contestants and email the feedback to you. Letting Milka into the room now. Hi, Milka. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right.
Good. Please, may you switch on your camera so we can see you?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. So, Milka, like we've been practicing, you've got a minute to describe and introduce yourself, to describe your venture, and then you can go into your 3-minute pitch, and then the judges will ask you a couple of questions. So when you're ready and comfortable, the floor is yours.
Right. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, thank you. So I can start. My name is Milka Owor, founder and CEO of AGRITECH. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Now, imagine Kamau, a farmer in Kenya who has just gone back to his rural home, a young youth in Kenya who has gone back home to farm. Within 4 months after planting, his produce is ready for harvest. Sorry, let me start again. Yeah, imagine Kamau, a young man who has gone back to his rural village to farm after losing his job from COVID. 4 months after planting his crop, it's ready for harvest, but then there is a problem. He does not have a market for his produce, and therefore turns to a local broker who offers him just a tiny fraction of the market value of the crop. If he doesn't take it, then he stares at a total loss of his perishable produce. Now, this is the story for over 30 million smallholder farmers in Africa who produce 70% of our food supply. Now, our solution is a digital platform that connects farmers like Kamau with customers through a network of individual distributors, micro distributors within communities. Our distributors, or we call them agents, they sign up to our application and immediately access a digital catalog of products, which they can begin to promote, obtain orders from their communities. We package these orders as per, we package the orders and deliver to them for onward distribution to their customers. So our agents operate only on a digital catalog. So far, we have worked with at least 3,000 smallholder farmers in Kenya. We have set up 3 rural hubs to aggregate farmer produce and offer support services. We have sold over 600 tons of produce this way, and we are building a network. Currently, 350 agents have joined us, mostly women and the youth, who now help to distribute fresh and nutritious food to their communities while earning additional income. We pay our farmers on the same day we collect the produce, and in general, they earn 3 times what they will earn from a local broker. We retain 25% of the market value of the produce and pay our agents a 10% commission. We would like to scale this solution to serve more farmers like Kamau within Kenya and ultimately grow to serve more farmers in Africa. We intend to use the prize money to expand our value chains, strengthen our technology, and support more farmers. Our female-led team has a diverse mix of talent and expertise, including agronomy and business development. So I ask you to join us in supporting our farmers to produce more, sell more, and together power a food secure world. Thank you.
Victor, any questions for Milka?
If I could start. Just 2 questions. Is how do you deal with perishability of some of the agricultural produce that you work with, and do you have cold chain storage to ensure that the food does not go bad because perishability of some things such as tomatoes, say, it can be a challenge. Second thing would be your kind of business really also looks into building an ecosystem from scratch. And how do you see yourself building this ecosystem from scratch? Because you'll need to work with different smallholder farmers and try to aggregate them. You'll also need to create a great number of off-takers and also some other individual buyers who will come to your platform. So how do you intend to build this ecosystem for this kind of work?
Right. All right, so can I go ahead and answer the 2 questions?
Go ahead, Milka.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so the issue of perishability. So what we do is that we have our collection centers, rural hubs, where these products are received during the day, and we transport them overnight to our city hub, which is our distribution center. So at the distribution center, which we currently have in Nairobi, we have storage facilities. We have freezers and fridges for fresh products. But then we make sure that we do not hold products for a longer time. So we are using data to predict the volumes that we are able to move. And so then we hold only a few products that we already know that there is demand for. Also, our agents, they do not hold inventory. So then we take away the burden of storage at the point of, at the last mile, because they only receive products that have been ordered by a customer. And often it takes them about 1 or 2 hours to finally deliver this product to their customers. So most of our sales are through these agents that are already community-based, and they have a trust network within the areas where they serve. And they can sell to a stall, which is like a mama mboga here. They can also sell to a restaurant. They can sell to a household. So on that end, they have a diverse mix of customers. But we have a central storage facility, and that is our city hub. On the second question about building the ecosystem, yes, we've been in this space for like 3 years now. And during this time, we have built relationships with the players like the local government area where we are in Nyeri County. We are working very closely with the local government. In fact, the third aggregation center was given to us. It was already a space that was available. Also, we are working together with their input suppliers who already either are on the ground like the Syngenta, and then we promise to do the offtake. In terms of the distribution end, we do not intend to build our own, let's say, the logistic network. So we are partnered with a local organization that is delivering these products from our city hub to our agents. And that actually takes away about 4% of our margin. Yeah, so that's how it works. So we are looking for more partnerships and seeing how that will unravel. But we have experience now being in this field for like almost 3 years now.
Great. I don't think there are any more questions from my end.
Perfect. An opportunity for one other judge to ask a question if you would like. Otherwise, Milka, thank you very much for joining. We'll be in touch with you early next week, and we'll speak then. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so our last candidate is Imen. She's from RoboCare, Tunisia. And there we have Barbara or Ken. So letting Imen into the room now. Hi, Imen. Okay, I see your audio is connecting. Let's give her a few seconds. Hi, Imen, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
How are you?
Good. Imen, so as you know, you have a minute to introduce your venture, yourself, and then you've got 3 minutes, an additional 3 minutes to pitch, like we practiced, and then the judges will ask you some questions. So over to you when you're ready.
It's okay. So I'm Imen, RoboCare co-founder. I'm Dr. Imen. I'm RoboCare co-founder. I have 10 years of experience in industry in many international companies. Now I launch RoboCare. It is a startup where we help farmers to optimize the use of pesticide, fertilizer, and water. We help them to improve the efficiency of their land, to decrease the charge, so that they increase the income. We aim to launch the precision farming agriculture, where we know what to give the plants, when, and how much. Thank you. This is the introduction.
Great, Imen. And when you're ready, you can do your 3-minute pitch.
Yes, okay. I just want to launch my chrono so that I don't miss the 3 minutes. So I will start. Hello, I'm Imen, RoboCare co-founder. This is my grandfather. He is a farmer from South Tunisia. But you know what? He's suffering. Yes, he's suffering from the risk to lose up to 30% of his crop due to disease lead detection. Currently, to protect his crop, he extensively uses pesticides that damage the plant, the worker, and the environment. In addition, he daily performs visual inspection, but this is limited to the ability of human eyes to see only in a thin portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. At RiweCare, we solve these issues. We empower farmers to detect disease at very early stage using spectrum technology. Did you know the MRI, the medical scanner? Yes, we are using similar technology to scan all the plants. Then we give farmers our precision farming platform where he found the vegetation state, the vegetation health of each plant, and we give him a decision-making platform. So consequently, he can reduce the use of pesticide, water, and fertilizer by 20%. Our farmers are happy because they are improving their land efficiency, and consequently, they increase their income by 30%, providing healthier vegetation. Now, we have 10 farmers. We already inspect 1,000 plants. For that, we are using a SaaS business model where we charge our farmer with $100 per month. We plan to use the prize money to reach 100 farmers, and we want to inspect 10,000 plants. Consequently, we plan to hire 3 engineers and improve our system performance to our system performance to be used by more and more farmers. Our team is composed by 6 members with complementary backgrounds. We have 10 years experience. We have an average of 10 years experience in industry, automation, and smart agriculture. I'm Dr. Iman. I'm the doctor of plants. Together, we will make my grandfather, yours, and many, many other farmers' life better with technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Iman. Ken, any questions for Iman?
Thank you very much, Iman. So if I understand well, you have a solution. It is a mobile-based solution, or is it a drone? I have not well understood if it's a drone or a mobile solution.
Yeah, a very nice question, because we have a smart system that be easy integrated with a drone. With tractor, it depends on the surface. If the farmer have big surface, with a drone. But if he have not a very large surface, this system is easy integrated to the tractor.
Okay, so it can be integrated. Okay. So it can be integrated into the tractor, or including also integrated in the drone.
Yes, yeah, it's easy to be integrated. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it like a chip, or is it the software?
No, we integrate in the tractor or in the drone a camera. Which is the hyperspectral camera. This hyperspectral camera, this is a camera that sees the invisible, so that we know the vegetation state of each plant, the chemical health of the state through the leaves.
Okay, so it's a camera. So you have manufactured it in Tunisia, or where?
No, we are buying the camera from Europe.
Okay.
We're buying the camera, we get these images, we run our AI algorithms. We have an AI algorithms to transform hyperspectral images to vegetation parameters.
Okay, so you have developed the algorithm yourself.
Yeah, yes. Our main value proposition is in the platform, in the algorithm, for the farmers.
Okay, and do you have competitors in Tunisia? Because I guess anybody can procure that device, that camera, and then try to also use it to detect diseases and other pests that may affect crops.
In fact, this is a huge market. At Tunisia, we have not competitors. Our main competitors are in Europe and in USA and Canada. This is our main competitors. But in Tunisia, we have not competitors. In fact, many of our competitors are using the satellites data. We are using them, but for more precision, we are using a proximal sensing, not a remote sensing. With the spectrum, with the satellite data, this is a remote sensing technology, but we are using a proximal sensing, that the camera is in proximity with plant, not with the satellites.
Okay. I have not well understood your cost model. So you said that it costs $1. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, of course. So we have a SaaS business model. We have a platform. When the farmer get a license, he can go to the platform to get the vegetation parameters. We charge farmer with $100 per month.
$100 per month.
Yes.
Okay, so what about competitors that are not technology competitors, like traditional maybe advisory services or the like? I mean, will farmer find that paying $100 per month be competitive, be valuable for them, you know? And yes, will they be willing really to adopt your product over just, requesting services from the national extension officers, for example?
Yes, a very nice question, because really, when you are a farmer, you are asking yourself why you are buying our solution. They are buying our solution because the existing solution can detect disease only when the disease is visible with human eye, but we can detect disease before the spread of before the disease can be visible. When we detect a plant that it is that have a problem in the photosynthetic activity, visually you see that the plant is okay, but it have a problem in the photosynthetic activities. Our main value is that we see the invisible. This is the first point, that when we see the invisible, we can alert them before the disease is spreading. Because with the traditional one, they know that their plant have problems only after the plant will be would have problems and the disease is already spread, and they consequently they use a lot of pesticide. But we know it before it will be visible. We will locally use pesticide, and we will locally treat this plant. We will not use a lot of preventive pesticide use, because nowadays for tomatoes, for example, they are using approximately 20 types of pesticide, and most of them are preventive because it's a very sensitive fruit, the tomatoes, so that they need to prevent that the crop is okay always.
Okay, and how do you explain that up to now you only have 10 farmers if you are bringing such value, and if you don't have competitors in Tunisia?
Yeah, a very nice question, because we already at the early stage. We have 2 years of research and development. We get lunch from 2 years. We have 2 years of research development. We have a research center. Sfax Research Center is our partners. I'm a doctor from this research center. We just launched in the market. We have we have just 1 month that we launch into the market, and we start. Yeah, and we start. And we start getting some customer from our local connection.
Okay, yes. And you expect which milestone in terms of customer acquisition? You said 1,000 or 100? How many farmers will you acquire in like a year or two, for example? What do you think, considering the market?
Yeah. Our market is in Africa.
How many farmers are you expecting to reach? I have not well understood that. In like how many customers will you have in 1 year or 2 years time in your projections?
So in 1 year, we plan to reach 1,000 farmers, and in 5 years, and in 3 years we want to reach 10,000 farmers, because when they are using our platform, because it's a SaaS business model, and we want to reach more users.
And when do you expect to be profitable? And second question, what is the level of profit, for example, that you expect an investor to have maybe after 3 years?
The first year, we plan to not be profitable for the first year. The first year is to gain many users, and after 3 years, we plan to be profitable. But when we get many users in our platform, we go from premium to more profitable business model when we get many users, so that we can more reduce the cost and we be more profitable after 3 years.
Okay. In the interest of time, I think I will stop here for now, but very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and very interesting questions. Thank you very much.
Jane,
all right, thank you, Amen. Iman, I think we have come to the end of this. You can drop off, not unless there's any other question. Barbara, I see you. Do you have any question? No. Okay.
No.
So, all right, great. So Iman, I think she's already dropped off. Well, Iman, let me put on my camera. Thank you very much.
Hello.
You will drop off and you will hear from us soon.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to meet you and to know all of you. I'm happy to be with you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.